Hi, editing Wathanya here. So, I know we said we would be doing her private life for this episode, but we ended up recording this one first, and so we would like to release it before we release her private life. Either way, enjoy.
Here on Accidental Kiss, we try our best to do this. Analyze Asian dramas and not relive the trauma. Now that you know what's in store, just sit back and tune in more. Please enjoy our podcast, Accidental Kiss. Welcome to Accidental Kiss, a podcast where we analyze the representation or lack thereof in Asian dramas from the perspective of drama fans. My name is Faith. I'm a Black U.S. citizen living in Japan who was a little too obsessed with Asian dramas in her college days, but now is trying to rekindle her love for them through this podcast.
Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Wathanya. I'm Lao, or Laotian, whichever term you prefer. I basically grew up with Asian dramas, mostly Thai ones, but I think that applies here. I just really like talking about them and analyzing them and their questionable representation.
Questionable. So in this episode, we're going to be talking about the Japanese drama Burraku Kousoku, or Black School Rules. So it actually took a bit of effort for us to find this drama.
And even more effort to actually watch it. Like, who introduced that format?
We will get into that later. We're talking. Save it for later. Save it for later. We'll get there. Get there.
Okay.
So today is a really exciting episode because we have our first ever guest on the show. She is an artist, a translator, and a fellow podcaster. Please welcome Ayumi from the podcast Sparkle Side Chats with Magical Girl Ayu. Thank you so much for joining us. Please feel free to tell us your name. I've said she, but if you have any other pronouns you would like to introduce.
You gave away the surprise.
Spoilers. And your relationship to Asian dramas.
Sure. Okay. Well, hello everyone listening. So again, I'm Ayumi, and my pronouns are generally she, her, but they, them is fine. I'm comfortable with they, them as well. So I am a Japanese and white American. I kind of semi-identify with the term hafu, but not really. I'm sure we'll get to that later. And I was born in Japan and grew up in the US and then moved back to Japan a few years ago. So yeah, that's everything. As far as Asian dramas, I've been very actively consuming Asian content, but in particular Japanese content. But when it comes to dramas, I never really watch them because no one else in my family seemed to want to watch them. And when you're a kid, getting access to stuff like that is really difficult. You have to go to the Japanese supermarket, and there's that really weird little sus corner where they have all the bootleg videos and stuff. So they were not usually getting those particular things, but as I got older, some of the comics I would read would get adapted into drama, so I would always be kind of interested in reading them and watching them, but I never really got around to really seriously watching dramas except for tokusatsu ones that are magical girl variety. I've watched quite a few of those by now, but yeah, that's basically my relationship now. But I had asked to I gave you guys a mission to find a series to talk about half a representation, and you guys did it, and it was a very interesting very interesting series. So I'm really glad that we found this one to talk about because there's definitely a lot to talk about.
Yes. Oh, your criteria were...
Oh god.
Yeah. It sounds simple, and it's something you would expect the, I guess, drama industry to care about, but it was surprisingly hard to find a drama where they let... I know you said you don't really identify with the word half, but for the purposes of talking about this, for a Japanese drama to let a mixed Japanese person play a mixed Japanese person. Smile.
No. Oh no.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to find it because it's like you'll either find a show that like they have a hafu or like mixed Japanese character, but like they're played by a full like a completely just Japanese, like, you know, not mixed at all person, or you'll find a mixed person who's in a drama, but they're never referenced as being mixed ever. Like it's never brought up or mentioned in any way.
Anna's friend.
Drama references.
Yeah, I mean, I've certainly watched a few movies where that was also the case, and it's like, it's very frustrating that that is an issue, but like, it is definitely part of, you know, examining Japanese dramas, and I'm sure a lot of these also, like, these kind of tropes do apply to other Asian countries, but I don't want to speak to them because I, for one thing, have not watched a single non-Japanese Asian drama, and actually no, that's not true. I watched Squid Game when that came out.
Okay,
just
cool,
remembered.
cool.
I am open to watching more. It was kind of always like a matter of access and time, and then like also
Yeah.
I watch a lot of other things.
Yeah, no, you're
Yeah.
very busy. I know you watch a lot of
I
magical
do.
girl series. So.
Yes.
All right. So, did you have anything you wanted to add?
I get about the show, or like getting into it, or anything like that.
I mean, this kind of is a little bit, I guess, farther ahead than where we are now. But I would, but I would like to ask why you wanted to choose like I guess a drama that included a hafu or like mixed Japanese character specifically.
I feel like, I guess the main reason was just because of my general lack of experience with even Japanese dramas. Like, the only other drama I could think about like watching that I would have at least a little bit of familiarity with would be something like Absolute Boyfriend, which I do want to get back to at some point, but I'm very fascinated with that particular series as far as like it's like that series with how it was like originally written versus how it was adapted. It's very it's very fun.
Interesting.
But yeah, it was just like a matter of like, you know, because I don't watch a lot of dramas of any kind really, I felt like that would be the best way to like be able to have any sort of I don't want to say authority, but like expertise, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we know
yeah.
What you mean.
Yeah.
Like, I call myself an expert of being gay, so yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Faith knows what I'm talking
That's your
about.
expertise.
Well, before we move on then, we will be discussing the entirety of many, many characters. Well, maybe not that many, but as many characters as we can, so spoilers ahead.
Oh, it's gonna be many. I pretty much I picked every single person I could find,
Including Virginia Woolf.
So also, yes, she's not even in it actually. Anyway, also we will be discussing parental neglect, bullying, manipulation, the Confederate flag, xenophobia, racism, death from overwork, physical abuse, emotional abuse, trauma, discrimination, abuse of power, obsession, attempted suicide, death, and grooming in this episode.
So, if you, like me, are sensitive to any of these issues, which is totally understandable and valid, please do prioritize your mental health and, you know, just overall well-being.
So first, we'd like to start with a summary of the series.
Yes, because context is very important. The story begins with the main characters, Sora and Juya, on the beach, reflecting back on their journey to challenge the, I guess, strict school rules? Like, after watching it sounds weird to say strict, but we'll move on. So Mao Machida is a classmate of Sora and Juya. She has beautiful brown hair that is unfortunately against the rigid school rules. Sora, who hadn't paid much attention to Mao before, suddenly becomes infatuated with her when he sees her being forced to leave school by the English teacher Otawa sensei. Because, like, you know, she had, like, a tint of brown hair.
Yeah,
like,
it's
a
really
tint of brown in
one
her
shade
hair.
lighter. It's like, it's very frustrating, but it also is like kind of accurate.
No, it is. No, you can tell this is a Japanese show because they care so much about that little tint. Like, it's literally like the blackest brown they can find. Like, literally
Like,
so
I
dark.
was like, Wait, what? That's not black? I guess it's a bit lighter than my hair, but
well, that's Japan for you. They notice the very subtle differences.
Yeah, but then if you see the drawings at like the ending sequence, you would think that her hair was almost blonde.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
it's
so
funny.
bright in the drawings, and then like in the actual show, it's like you have to like kind of squint to actually see. Oh, it's brown. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. God. Oh.
Yeah, but more importantly, Ottawa Sensei was like, Mao, you only have a few more absences left before you won't be able to graduate.
And so, Sora, feeling the need to save Mao, decides to challenge the unfair school rules. First, he asks the student council president, Hirari Kamisaka, how he could change the school rules. She suggests surveying the students and like gathering support for his cause. And so he makes a survey box to see if any of the other students want to change the school rules as well. A few students do end up actually submitting their names, but the vice president of the student council, Michiro Matsumoto, is against this. So he likes the position he has in the school, and he doesn't really think that the rules should be changed, and I guess it will upset the order, the balance that he has. I don't know, where he's at the top. And so he and his lackeys, Keita Nanaura, or Nana, and Joji Urushido, fight Sora for the survey box. But Sora's homeroom teacher, Mori Sensei, stops the fight and takes the box for himself, and then he says he will give it to Kirari.
And so, for some reason, Sora and all the other people who put their names in the survey end up receiving a link to like this really suspicious app, which we will call the Resistance app for the purposes of this episode, for them to talk to other like-minded students. Sora knows that Juya is on the app because, you know,
obviously,
telepathy,
I don't know,
male character.
Maybe he just knows how he types or something. I don't know.
That's how close they are to each other, Faith. Like, but they said no homo, so it's fine.
Oh no, he went there.
I can go there. It's the territory that I can go, and no one can say shit. Okay. We can cut that out if you want to.
No, I'll keep it in.
Yeah, the Resistance group uses this app to chat about school rules and plan like small ways to challenge them. Sora starts the movement by wearing a bee hat to school. Because it was like no hats or something. And so the thing about this drama is it explores each rule and the person affected by it as it goes. And the first is about Mao not having black hair. And through her arc, we are introduced to her only friends, apparently, who are Inoue-san, a random Japanese dude, Grayson.
An older man. We have to say he's like an old man.
They are all older. He is much older, and
they
are all
they
older
are.
now, like adults.
Yes. Oh, yeah. The age gap is quite apparent. Except one of them, maybe. Because there's Inoue-san, who's like middle-aged. Grayson, I think he's middle-aged. Kofi maybe even a bit older than Grayson.
I have no idea, honestly. I can't tell.
Yeah, but Jiru,
Jiru.
The drama doesn't state his age, but I think his actor was born in 1999.
Yeah, his actor's quite young, I think, actually.
Oh no. I mean, that kind of makes sense also, but I did definitely interpret that he was meant to be like kind of an adult and like.
Yeah, I think so in the show, definitely.
Mm. Well, these 4 older men, 3 of whom are foreigners, quote unquote foreigners, are all rappers.
They're rappers,
and 2 of them are black.
Yes.
2 of them are black. Don't forget that.
I do think it's interesting that they are like different. They're different black people. Like they're
yeah. I was surprised they actually did that. Like they were like, no, you're from Africa black, and you're from America black.
You said it was so awkward.
Faith, coming from you, you know it hits different.
yes. But yeah. So Grayson is American, and then Kofi. Or I feel like Mao's mother pronounces his name like coffee, which I find very interesting.
Yes,
But
yes.
yeah, he's from Ghana.
I wondered about that.
Yeah.
I did. I was like, coffee?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was interesting. Yeah, I wonder about that. Like, I really want to ask, like, the director or, like, the, you know, I guess the casting, like the people who did casting, like, why did you choose this in particular? Was it because the two people themselves were just from these countries and they're just like, okay, let's just go with that? Or, yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting also, like, the whole first episode is, like, all from, like, Sora and Chia's perspective, and you don't hear from Mao ever. So, like, they start this whole thing, and we don't even know if Mao's on board.
Yeah, exactly. They just decide to break the rules for her.
Yeah.
Like, what if she doesn't? What if she wants to just blend in and that's it? Like who knows?
Yeah.
Like, they don't even know. They don't know anything about her. That's the thing. They don't.
And
know
like
her.
they basically never, he almost never talks to her. So
Yeah, he never even asked her. Like, he literally, all he does is go up to her and say, "You should dye your hair and come to school because I want to graduate with you." And it's like, okay.
yeah, and it's like it's for so many reasons that's like not the way to handle that situation at all.
Like, I want you to graduate with me, so dye your hair and fit it.
Exactly.
But I'm gonna break the school rules for you though. But blend in now because you have to.
And we see, like, throughout the series, it's, like, kind of unclear when she does or doesn't do this, but she does spray paint her hair black.
Yes. Yeah.
So, like, and it's very interesting because it does look very different when she has that kind of
It's true.
painted hair.
It's true.
Yeah.
So there was a difference. See, they knew. They knew the subtle brown.
Yeah. And I think it's also important to point out that like this is, you know, a real school rule that happens in a lot of Japanese schools.
Oh,
and
yes.
affects a lot of people, whether they're students who are not Japanese or mixed Japanese. But like the way that they phrase the whole problem, like when Mao is confronted at the beginning, is Otawa sensei is always saying, you need to put your hair back to black.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I noticed
Yeah,
that.
it's like they don't believe that it could naturally be brown. Like, it's not possible. Even though I'm pretty sure there's Japanese people with brown hair. Right?
Yeah.
So,
like my hair, you know, I am the same mix as Mao, though we wouldn't know that from watching the first 7 episodes. And like my hair naturally is quite the same black as most Japanese people who are not mixed. My brother was born blonde, and then his hair became more of a dark brown over time. So his hair is more of like a kind of like a milk chocolate brown at this point.
Ooh.
Yeah, so he would have problems.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
Back
I
to
don't
black.
know. I don't know how my hair would have fared if I had gone to a Japanese school.
I don't know. Does it have a tint of brown?
Like, yes, but like for me, it's like the same way as everyone else. But like, I was very lucky. I grew up in. I didn't just grow up in the U.S. I grew up in New York City and went to an arts high school.
Yeah.
So there was this time where I went on a school trip to Japan, like as a Japanese student, and then my hair at the time was actually the most normal my hair had been in high school, because my hair was, by the time I finished high school, my hair had been literally every color of the rainbow. I think I first had my hair when I was like 9 years old, because my parents were like, sure, why not? Let's go for it. They had no idea what they were doing, but they did their best. Yeah. So, you know, I have my hair at the time was very interesting, but yeah, in high school, like when I ended up going to Japan, my hair was mostly its natural black color, but I had like the tiniest red streaks for bangs, and that made me the coolest person any Japanese kid had ever met in their life. It was very interesting, because like I was a loser in my school, like no one. I mean, I had friends and stuff, but like I was not a cool kid. Yeah. And suddenly I go to this Japanese school, and of course no one can dye their hair, and like my hair is also naturally very wavy. So like seeing this girl who had, and I had piercings at the time too.
Oh wow!
So, like,
yeah, that was really radical.
Because like by then I had my nose pierced, my eyebrow pierced. I had several piercings in both
Oh yeah,
ears.
you would have been really cool then.
So yeah, everyone was like, "Whoa, this American girl's so cool." And yeah, so like for 3 days I felt like a princess.
Oh,
I guess.
that's good. That's good. At least you had a really positive experience with it. At least you were able to do that.
It was still, oh my god. I only spent 3 days in a school, and that was like, I was like 15, and it was a middle school because the high schools were busy at the time.
Oh.
They couldn't take in any students, but only 3 days in a Japanese junior high school, I was just in, I didn't like get in trouble, but like it was too much for me. I couldn't take it.
Oh no.
So, yeah.
Oh. Well, that's not good.
Yeah.
Okay, so back to the summary.
Yes.
So at the end of Mao's arc, she challenges Kirari about how vague the school rules are. And so then the drama transitions to Kirari's arc, where they explore the rule that prohibits students from wearing a ponytail. It starts with Mao deciding to dye her hair black and then go to school, like we mentioned before. And then Kirari then starts to violate school uniform rules. The arc continues to touch upon lunch at school, during which we see students come together to make nagashi somen, which is type of noodles you eat as it slides down. Typically bamboo slide. You grab it while it's sliding down.
It's fun. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks really fun.
I've actually never tried that. It looks
I've
fun.
only done it once, but yeah, it is really fun actually.
I'll have to put that on my list.
I actually would love to do that. Yeah, I would love to do that actually at school. That'd be fun.
do think, I'm sure we'll talk more about Kirari as a character later on, but she's a very interesting kind of foil for Mao. Because, like, Kirari is someone who, she's not mixed. She has absolutely no problem obeying all the rules. And she also lives a very structured life. I don't know if she's, like, coded as having any sort of, like, a neurodivergence or anything like that. But, like, she very much does not understand why someone would want to change the rules. And, it is only, like, when Mao's like, okay, so hike your skirt up a few more centimeters. And, like, they keep trying this kind of little game. And it's very, very interesting for her to kind of like need that experience to like kind of see what the problem is. But and the soulmate is like, because they were saying like, oh, bring something unusual for lunch, and she brings raw noodles. They're like, what are we gonna do with that?
Yes, exactly. She just brings the raw noodles.
It's something that kind of crossed my mind for a bit. But, like, then I decided not to mention it because, like, you know how the line between weird strict character and neurodivergent can be really blurry in Japanese dramas because of how they design their characters.
That's true. Yeah. I know some of the characters, they do remark on how strange she talks. Like the way she says her words, like apparently the way she talks is very...
she's very formal. She keeps like a notebook where she does like, she writes on everything she's gonna do for every minute of the day. And other kids at school tease her for it. So like we know that it's something that makes her stand out and that other kids comment on.
And before we move on, I'd like to just add a side note. This rule that this episode is talking about. Ponytail wa kinshi to suru, I believe, is the name of the episode, which basically just means ponytails are prohibited. And apparently the reasoning is that, and this was explored in the drama.
Oh, yeah, that. Oh.
Yeah. Sora and Juya were talking about how it's like how they are offended that, the reason this rule exists is because the nape area would arouse male students. I think Sora's like, they're looking down at us, nametten no, or something along those lines.
Yeah,
and then they pause for 2 seconds and then they're like, well, I am aroused. And I'm like,
yeah, I remember that.
Ew.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was gross.
Anyway.
It's weird.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Juya, the next arc is Juya. My transitions are smooth, Faith. So, Juya was cast under suspicion of daring to have a part-time job as a high school student. The rule, I believe, is アルバイトは禁止とする, which is
see a pattern here.
Yeah. You're not allowed to have a part-time job. And so basically, like, really long story short, the TLDR is that a teacher tries to expose him at his workplace, but he denies it, saying, "Oh, I'm here to save the bakery because there's gonna be a bombing." And Sora barges in with green paint all over his face and body, with like a curly wig, and with like some leaves in the wig, with like white powder around his eyes and gold-colored lips. And like, he was causing a scene. He was like, "Do you want the sweet?" or something like that. And
yes, it was reverse Halloween was his plan.
And like a very reasonable adult person, the teacher screamed and ran away.
Yes.
It worked.
And so Juya's like, "Oh, I'm gonna save you, teacher." And he left with Sora, and then the teacher saw Chuya's older brother and figures that, okay, the rumors were probably about this older brother, Fumiya, I believe, and not Chuya.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Oh, we'll get back to that.
we
will
got
get back to
we have
that.
a lot to talk about that. Yeah, we'll come back to that. There's too much to talk about.
Yes.
All right. So, when Mao is walking home from school one day, she notices that her factory worker friend Kofi is looking inside her window, which was weird. And when he sees Mao, he like tries to run away and is like saying it's not what it looks like, it's no, and like Mao's ask him, like, okay, well, why are you like, first she asks like, are you like trying to peek, like, I guess at her mother or something, I don't know, and he's like, no, and it's like, and so he explains that he smelled something that reminded him of his home country. So Mao invites him in her house, and we see that Mao's mom has made some pasta with like a lot of like some tomato sauce and like tomatoes on it.
It looked like Neapolitan pasta to me, which is
probably
such a weird choice.
Yeah, that's probably, I think that's what it was.
Because for anyone who doesn't know, that's ketchup pasta.
Well, he said tomatoes.
Yes.
And so
it's like, sure, yeah.
So Kofi tells Mao,
It's like the worst pasta choice.
well, hey. Ketchup comes from tomatoes.
It's true, but it's a very weird choice.
I thought it was a weird choice that he would sell his country's food. Honestly, I have a lot to say about that as well.
Yeah.
I'll come back to that. Okay, so Kofi tells Mao and her mom that, like, a lot of dishes in his home country of Ghana use tomatoes in them, which I checked. I just did a quick Google search, and that is true. Apparently, they do use a lot of tomatoes in their dishes. And so Mao's mom, Madi, who, just her name, let's mention her name, offers Kofi some pasta, and also once he confirms it's really okay, like he eats and he digs in, and then Kofi asks Mari, like, "Why are you being so nice to me?" And she's like,
yes, being so nice as to giving him the most African dish ever.
Pasta. Yes. And so she's just like she's like, I don't know. It's like, it seems like she's just like, she likes foreigners or something. She's just,
yes. She said, "I'm nice to you because I love foreigners." It's like, what?
So much to unpack there.
Excuse
so
me.
Much
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And so then later, the other factory workers come to Mao's house too, and they also eat because I guess they just all have to be together. And then they end up rapping because that's what they do all the time. Is they always rap. And then Inoue-san even tries to like pretty much propose to Mari through rapping, but Mari's like not having it, and she just raps back at him like, no, and just flat out refuses him.
Faith. Inoue-san is not a foreigner.
That's true.
I'm sorry. Well, I said the other factory workers, though. I said the other factory workers. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no,
But
I
when
mean,
it comes to Inoue, like, none of them are like really hitting on her.
You mean he's not a foreigner, so that's why she's not interested. Oh, I see.
Yes.
So if it was Kofi, she might be like, okay, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh no.
It's a lot.
That's so sad. Okay, all right.
Yeah, Sorry.
It's a good point. It's a good point. Yeah.
I just noticed that, and I had to
That's
point
true.
it out.
That's true.
But yeah, in the next arc, the drama explores the rule that prohibits biking to school, Denshatsukin or something. It's basically the way they format the episodes, like something wa kinshi to suru, like this is prohibited. But yeah, in that episode, Michiro, which if you have already forgotten is the vice president of the student council, challenges Sora to beat him or one of his lackeys in the 3,000-meter run, and then he allows Sora to do the survey box again. And Nana, whose nickname is literally just 7. It will come up later in the drama, but it's not really important in our review of it. But yeah, Nana actually wants to ride his bike to school because he lives far away. He was basically helping the resistance. He lets Sora beat him so that he could not, walk 40 minutes to school. And apparently on that day he had like some kind of injury.
Yeah, something with his feet.
Yeah, made him run much slower. I can't remember if they mentioned why, but I remember him basically limping.
Yeah. I don't remember why either, but like he's on the baseball team and he loves baseball, but he's actually really bad at it.
I remember that.
Mood, but also it's very interesting because like that's kind of his thing because there's another rule that's I think true for most high schools in Japan and also junior high schools will like if you want to be in a club you have to achieve a certain you have to keep your grades up basically.
Yes. I think that's most places, most schools everywhere actually. Like I mean the States too, if you're like on a team you have to have a certain grade point average, right? To continue to be on the team.
I wasn't on a sports team.
Okay, all right. I mean, I wasn't either, but like from what I've heard, at least from American TV, that's what they say. Like it's always like there's always a jock who like can't study, and it's like, oh, I got to get a C or I won't be able to play this season. There's always an episode like that. So.
I am trying to remember because my brother was on the baseball team in his high school, and no shade to him because I love my brother very much, but it was a miracle that he graduated.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, maybe every school
not because
of
his grades necessarily.
Okay.
Yeah, other things.
Oh, okay. All right. Well.
Yeah.
All right.
He would have done terribly in a Japanese high school. So.
Oh no. Well, yeah, they would have told him to dye his hair.
Yes.
He wouldn't have been able to go to school. Yep. He wouldn't have been able to go to school.
Or
if
he
dyed
could
his
just
hair.
shave. I don't know.
So
That's true. Nana is bald. We don't know what his hair color is.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah, he could have just shaved. Yeah. So then in the next arc, the drama explores the rule that prohibits going to certain places while wearing the school uniform. Because of the nature of the rule, the drama had to break away from the normal format and have Chuya rope his classmate Azuma into a situation. So he knew that Azuma had has a stutter and he can't express himself like talking normally that well, but he can express himself really well through rap. Luckily. And so he brings Azuma to the rappers at the factory and he's, still wearing his school uniform. And they then see the foreman be really racist towards the rappers. Surprise. Because they're foreign. Yeah. Surprise. Yeah. Because they're foreign.
Comically racist.
Yes, literally like the racist stereotype. And then the workers go on strike and rap at the foreman.
Yeah. I'm sure we will come back to this.
Oh, yes.
So yeah, I'm going to talk about the summary because last time we did this, we spent like an hour adding side note after side note after side note.
Yes.
But the arc after that explores the rule that prohibits the use of social network services, referred to as SNS in Japan. So Sora follows the principal around as the principal takes photos for the school's official...
I'm sorry, can I just note that he's in the most suspicious, obvious outfit ever?
Yes.
And he's lurking at the school and the girls, I think pee or something they're doing. I don't know, they're out doing some sports or something. And he's just looking over at them and it looks like they're about to come towards him or something.
Yeah, they're you can see at one point there's a crowd of girls that are he does not even notice them. They're one of you have to go talk to him. Like,
yeah.
what is he
Because
doing?
it's so creepy because he's just like standing there looking really suspicious.
Yeah, well, he's creepy every episode.
Yeah, he's really creepy.
He
He's
is.
really creepy.
But it's fine.
We need to talk about how creepy he is.
Oh, we will talk about it. But, like, it's fine, Faith.
Our
And
main character,
it's
everybody.
Fine as long as the principal, who's the target, doesn't notice him. It doesn't matter if the whole
Yeah.
world knows that he's following the principal. But yeah, the principal's taking photos for the school's official social media account, and Sora's like, oh, everything is so fake, because this manager had to run and give water to Nana, whatever.
Oh yeah, oh my god. I added that just because of that scene. I added her just because of that scene. I don't even know who she is, but I just added her because I was like, oh my god, it's horrible.
And at the same time, Juya has horrible grades, surprise, surprise, and has to study extra with Tamogami Sensei, who he, of course, has a crush on. He, like, during class, I believe, confesses to her.
During the after school class.
During that extra class, and she boasts about grooming, about like being groomed, and I mean, she talks about
it wasn't her, Wathanya. It was a student. It was a student, Wathanya.
Yes,
who knows who it was?
It was a student, and it was also about a very, very kind and nice teacher, and their relationship was genuine. Yeah, it happened when she was in high school, but like it totally wasn't her. She didn't explicitly say it.
Wathanya. He was a good man who fought for justice. He stood up for a student who was being bullied for having brown hair naturally. And he even made the form so that, other people with natural brown hair could, prove that their hair is brown and go to school.
The fact that that's a document that exists is so wild, but I'm sure that also exists now.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Oh, no doubt.
The only flaw he had was that he just happened to fall in love with a high school student. That's all.
Whom he was also teaching, but okay.
Okay. So in the final episode, the school is having this kind of open school event, this event pretty much for the junior high school students to come and see their school and kind of encourage them to attend their high school in the next, I guess, year or so. And so everything needs to be perfect, everyone needs to be present, everything has to go smoothly, right? And they have to make a good impression on the junior high school students. And so the final rule of the drama explores is do not, for whatever reason, be absent.
Yes, literally. And I wrote, I have it with me. The rule in Japanese, if you understand Japanese, is どんなことがあろうと欠席してはならない. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Okay. So, and they even, it's very interesting because they say because this is all the one really, really terrible teacher who's saying this particular rule, but he actually says, even if you are sick, you have to come in.
Yeah, he did.
Which is such a terrible thing to hear.
Especially now.
Yeah.
Right now.
Oh my god, yes. Oh my god, it's awful. Oh my god.
Yeah. This is a 2019 series,
yeah.
so we have to point that out. This is just before.
This is right
the
before.
pandemic.
This is right before, but still.
This is the cause of the pandemic.
yeah, pretty much.
This rule.
This rule. That's why. Oh goodness. And so the resistant groups decide that they're going to skip school on that day and go to the beach instead. And this is the same beach Sora and Chuya have been at while they've been doing their side commentary on all of the events in the story that I really wish they would have had out. And so the other members of the resistance come to the beach as well, and we learn all of the members' true identities.
We found out they are Sora, of course, and Chuya, and Nana, Kirari, Mori Sensei. He isn't able to go to the beach because he's a teacher and he has to go to work.
Tired.
He doesn't want to get fired.
He has a job.
Yeah, and also of course Mao. So the resistance group all take a photo together at the beach, and Juya sends the photo to Tamogami Sensei because apparently she has a sense of justice or whatever.
Just like her, just like her
and
teacher.
So she's
just like her teacher. Wathanya.
Yeah.
And she uploads it to the school website. I think it was right when the principal was making his.
I think it was
grand
the teacher.
speech,
I don't think it was the
whatever.
principal. I think it was that teacher, the abusive one. He was talking at the
okay.
students and like showing them the website, and then she put it up like right, while he was talking.
Yeah.
Because he just reads mid sentence like, "Oh, kids are like skipping. We skipped school, or like we're at the like beach." Like he reads the sentence and then he realizes, oh, like midway through.
Yeah.
And everyone saw the photo right when he was reading it, right?
Yes.
And so, his name is Teshirogi Sensei, which is a very strange name. Like, but all the names are strange.
Yeah,
we're not gonna get into
that.
that.
All the names are pretty strange. Yes.
They're very cartoonish, but it's interesting.
Yeah. So this Teshirogi Sensei just starts his rant about how there are really bad students, blah blah blah, go to the beach, like no, like
Go to the
that,
beach.
like you're like what was the word he used?
I'm sure he said baka because he always says
trash.
He always says he always calls the students.
Oh, yeah,
stupid.
yeah.
He always is like stupid and you don't have a future. And
like stupid students that go to the beach, and so Tamogami Sensei comes up and just bitch slaps him. And she takes his mic and she's like, "Please don't listen to this asshole. Just go do your research
quote.
and like choose wisely." It's not an exact quote.
I know, it's fine.
I paraphrased.
it's fine. It's a better. I like it better. I like this interpretation better.
And so the drama ends with a scene where like everyone else in the resistance group, whatever, for some reason is looking at Sora and Mao talking.
I guess they all knew that he had a thing for her, I guess. I mean, so I guess they were all just waiting to see, like, oh, will they or won't they? Even though I'm not even sure if, like, Kirari and Nana even knew that they
I
had
don't think so.
like, he had feelings for her. I have no idea. But apparently they all care now.
I mean, it's kind of obvious, but
Yeah, no, Sora's very obvious, but...
yeah. But yeah, Mao saw him and she's like, "Hey dude, I want to get a motorbike." And he's like, no, they're too dangerous.
What a loser! Oh my god! I'm sorry.
And later he's like, "Hey,
Yeah.
do you want to maybe go out somewhere?"
I mean...
He finally like musters up the courage to ask Mao out, but before we hear her response, I don't think she even I don't think her facial expression even changed that much.
Yeah. Like we don't really get to see how she feels about him at all. Like it's never clear.
No.
We don't care about her. It's all about him. We have to know about his feelings, what he does, everything about him, and his math, like pseudo, like dating.
Oh,
something.
don't get me started
yes.
on that now.
That was
Okay, we'll get you started on it later. It's okay. We'll come back to it. Okay. All right. So that's the end of Black School Rules. What do you think the overall message of this drama was, Wathanya?
Huh? Sorry, that was supposed to be a message? Oh, sorry, I didn't get the meeting notes. I really don't know what the message was. It was horrible to watch, Faith. I'm sorry. I hated the format. I get that the two guys, Juya and Sora's actors were like a big deal, whatever.
Yeah, they're Johnnies.
What?
Yep.
It's like idol kind of group, like Japanese, really popular.
Yeah, Johnny's is the biggest idol agency in Japan for men. It was actually created by a Japanese American who
Didn't he die recently? He passed away, right? Like
he passed away, not before being found out to be a predator and stuff, but yeah. So the agency is still called Johnny's and Associates, and then like that's just like if you're under the Johnny's umbrella, there's a whole bunch of different boy bands under the umbrella, but basically like he's like the guy for Japanese boy bands. Like he made so many boy bands for decades.
Yeah, I see. Well, I think that shows how much, or I guess how little I care about Japanese boy bands. And Johnny...
That's fair.
Wathanya, Arashi, Matsujun
right.
also was
yes.
Johnny.
Yeah.
Someone I knew was talking about like a boy band. I think it was Johnny's, and I was like, "You mean Arashi?" And she was like, "No, that's decades ago." And I was like, "Sorry."
I mean, they retired like last year.
But they were still going. People were still really big fans of them. Even now, people are still like, bring them back. Like, no, you don't die as an idol here. You just keep going. You fly.
You just become what's it called? Like oh, that's mom's boy band. This is my boy band. Like it's like that.
Yeah. And sometimes, no, they keep going. Like they don't stop. What time? You don't stop being an idol.
Well, I don't care enough.
Yeah, it's interesting.
And so,
that's okay. That's all right.
So the format
nice.
of like instead of just like being an interconnected, series, it's just like scenes woven together by these two guys that I don't care about. So like
yeah. That's the big thing is that I don't care.
And so I didn't really get a message from it. It was basically like, stalk your crush and maybe she'll return your feelings?
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. It did not leave a good impression on me. Maybe the movie version will, but we'll see. I will refrain from judging something I haven't seen yet. But yeah, what do you think the message is, Faith?
Okay, so like you, I didn't like the storytelling format. Like I didn't like the way they did it. I didn't like that we spent so much time with Sora and Chuya. I wish we could have cut out, especially Sora. I wish we could have cut it out, actually. I think it would have been a better series. But I will say I did see some good things in the show. Like overall it was a mess, but I did see like little tidbits of like good things inside of it. And I do think it's good in a way that it does at least encourage Japanese youth to like fight the system in their own kind of way. I mean, like, yeah, they still didn't, like, Mao still had to dye her hair, and I don't think they ever changed that. But at least they tried to challenge stuff, which I feel like, especially for Japanese kids and, like, Japanese youth, is an important lesson to learn, because a lot of times you're just supposed to just follow the rules, right? And so to see kids their age, or, well, actually older than them probably, but, like, to see young people breaking some rules and, like, challenging the rules and being like, hey, maybe this shouldn't be a thing. I think I'll give them some credit for that. At least they tried. They attempted. Like, did they do it well? No. But they tried. But I did also notice that, you can't push the rules too much, though, because then you become Meiwaku or a nuisance. And so can't do that. Like, even if you have a strike, got to make sure you still get the work done, though, because, don't want to be a bother. But what about you, Ayumi? Did you get any message from this series?
I mean, I think I could understand what it was trying to do. I think maybe, it was not the right methodology, perhaps, but, they're trying to kind of, with a lot of fiction about high school kids is very much like a fantasy. If you look at animation, everyone has very brightly colored hair in animation.
Yes.
So, like it's very much like that is, the way that it's framed is like kind of over, what's it called? It's going a little over the top with what the rules are, but like they're not that far off from what a lot of real school rules are.
Oh yeah.
Especially of course the main one being the hair thing. And so I do think that they were kind of trying to like show the audience, which, it can, I think, still be very interesting to look at and discuss even for Japanese adults, but yes, especially for Japanese high schoolers, to say like, yeah, if you feel this way, don't worry, you're not alone. Like, I'm sure if you know where to look, if you get the resistance app thing, you'll be able to find people in your high school.
Yes.
Yes.
Or make your own resistant app.
Ooh.
Yeah.
There you go.
I feel like we learned so much about the characters, like just from how they express themselves in that app.
Yeah, that's true.
Very
That's true.
Japanese
It was a
to
cute little
happen.
app. It was a very cute little app, you know. Yeah. I mean, the app I wouldn't say was a bad thing. I don't feel like the inclusion of the app made the story worse in any way. It was more like the real main characters.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So it's like the message is just basically, like it's like, as you said, Faith, like you can definitely instill change. It does suggest that it has to be done kind of through the system, and that teachers and students have to work together. But like, yeah, there's not a feeling of helplessness by the end, which is, I think, important. I think it is interesting the way it's framed, and also like looking at the fact that a lot of the events of the thing and like the reasons for all these rules were based on events from a decade ago, and like you would hope that schools would change their rules over time.
Oh, I don't believe that though.
Yeah.
I don't think they are. I believe it's the same rules.
Yeah, but like, for example, when I watch a lot of media from Japan from like the 70s, there's like almost always an episode where like the students are organizing for whatever reason. So it's very interesting to see like the difference between that and then like now. Yeah, there are, people more knowledgeable than me that can talk about it, that you can listen to in other podcasts. They like talk about the history of like anarchy in Japan and how it got snuffed out and stuff. But yeah, I think
that is interesting.
It's interesting context to know for like seeing how these things get approached today. But like Sora is so boring, but also like he is so many guys, I think.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
I feel like he is a standard guy. Like, like he really,
the way
like, I
he
really
approaches things is very much like, especially like, as we said at the beginning, where he was like, well, Mao, I want you to be able to graduate, so please dye your hair black. So like, that's his way of trying to help. Like, it's very bad.
It's like,
yeah.
Let me help you.
Yeah. So it's interesting. But definitely, it would have been such a different show if he was gone. Like, Chia is like at least kind of interesting because
he's at least a little more fun. Yeah,
but yeah, like I guess he needs someone to talk to. But...
And also, you get a lot of more backstory of Chuya, where you actually, considering that Sora is the main character, you really don't get much backstory.
I don't know anything about Sora.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about him.
In the drama, you don't even see his mom. You don't even get to see her. Not in the drama or the special, you don't see the mom at all. Like, she's never there. Like, it's like, where's his family? Where's his parents? Like, they're never there.
Oh my god. Like, yeah, I think basically Sora is like, how should I put this without being too dehumanizing? Like, a place where the very boring Japanese guys could just
he's like a Japanese guy, Mary Sue or something. Like, it's like only he doesn't have any abilities. You know, he's not.
No,
he's
a self-insert. Like,
he's a self-insert. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he's like an avatar or something. Like, it's like want to have your own, break your own school rules. Like,
exactly.
Yeah, he's an avatar. Yes. That's true. Yeah, maybe that's the purpose. Maybe if they made him so bland, so any Japanese guy can be like, any Japanese teenager can be like, yes, I relate to this. That's me. Yeah. Like, I don't know. I like, mixed Japanese girls too. Like, I don't know. Like,
that just sounds interesting to hear.
Yeah. Well, he does have this weird fixation on her, so
yes.
Before we move on to the rest of the representation and Black school rules, we would like to take this time to thank Ayumi for coming on our podcast and sharing her perspective.
Yeah, as someone born to parents who are both Lao, being mixed is something I will never be able to experience. Do you have like a place and outlets of some sort where you talk about your experiences
Well, it's not exactly dedicated to me talking about my experience as a Japanese and white American, but I do have a podcast about magical girls, and it's rare, but the topic also does come up there as well, where it's like, on a rare occasion, we do have some half Japanese magical girl characters. And sometimes we have, at least in recent years, there's finally a pretty famous half Japanese voice actress who is on the scene.
Nice.
So she voiced a major magical girl character last year, and her character was not mixed, but still something. Yeah, but we just talk about all things magical girls, not just Japanese series and not just animated series. So just kind of looking at the whole genre from across time and space.
That sounds so poetic. Yeah, so actually I was on Ayumi's podcast. Actually, we did a episode on the live action drama version of Pretty Guardian Sailor Moon, so the 2003 version. And it was so much fun. It was really fun talking with Ayumi and talking about Sailor Moon and just like gushing over the villains. So yes. Yeah, if you all if you all haven't heard that, please check it out.
Yeah, I would really appreciate it if you guys listen to that episode or any episode, but especially that episode, since you can hear Faith on it.
Well, you heard that, everyone. Ayumi's podcast is called Sparkleside Chats. Or the name is actually longer, but I'm sticking to Sparkleside Chats. And you can search for it, and that unique name will be on top of like the search results anywhere. Now, back to the show. So, next we would like to hop into the, I forgot the phrasing, but it's like the meat and potatoes, I believe, of our podcast, which is representation.
Yes.
And we're gonna start with gender. Girls and women are indeed represented in this drama. We've divided them into 3 categories, like always.
Sometimes 4. Sometimes 4.
Sometimes 4, but usually 3. 3 is the magical number. And the first category is, this is interesting to read, because it's like the female lead, but like in quotation marks. Oh, we'll talk about it in a bit. And then there's the other girls and the actual women.
Okay, so the quote-unquote female lead, Mao Machida. I guess she's kind of tough in a way. I mean, I guess she comes off as a little tough, but she's also quite vulnerable. She's a high school girl. She often hides her true feelings. She is half Japanese and white American. You wouldn't know from the drama, but you do find out a bit in the special, which Ayumi and I both watched, and also in the movie, which I watched, and it's very specific there. They actually say it, and they show you a picture of her like father, and he's definitely white.
Wow.
So you actually do see him. So he's definitely white. So yes, she is white American and Japanese. So this causes her hair to be slightly brighter than her classmates, which is against the school rules. This and like her somewhat aloofness like causes her to stand out from the other students a bit. She tends to be kind of a loner at the school. Like I never really see her with any friends, really. Like she's just kind of alone. However, she does have some friends at the local like factory / construction site, and all 4 of them are adult men. 3 of them are foreigners, and 1 is a Japanese man.
Yeah, because, like, Faith, there's always that dynamic of, like, men surrounding this one girl.
Yeah, they do
We were
love
talking
that.
about it, yeah.
They do like that. Like, it's weird. It's always like, maybe they'll put 2 if you're lucky, but it's like, yeah, it's usually one girl, like, oh, we put one in there. Leave us alone. Like, we did it. Yeah.
And, like, yeah, also, wait, what was I gonna say? Right. One thing that I find interesting and kind of funny is that, because, Mao is Japanese and white American, they were like, okay, so the men surrounding her, 3 of them have to be foreigners, because that's what foreigners do. They band together.
They hang out with other foreigners.
And of course, we're gonna have this token Japanese man.
But they didn't choose any white people, at least not until the special, though. So it's like weird that they. I mean, like, don't get me wrong, I'm not I'm glad there were black people. I'm not saying they shouldn't have put black people in there, but I'm just saying it's kind of strange. They're like, oh, they're hanging around foreigners, but they need to be black and one Brazilian. Like, for some reason, like, I don't know, like, it's...
I mean, I think it's also a possibility that, like, they had a general, like, casting call, like, are you a foreigner who can rap? And then they just picked whoever.
In Japanese.
Yeah, exactly, because rapping is already very difficult.
Oh, yeah.
But rapping in Japanese,
Yeah.
when it's not your first language,
yeah.
is very difficult.
Yeah. Yeah, I commend these actors for being able to do that. That's like, whoa, like, I can barely rap. Yeah, in English, like wow. Yeah, no, that was very impressive, actually, that they did rap. The person who plays Jiru, who's the Brazilian character, is native Japanese, though. So I mean, still impressive, but a little less, I guess.
Yeah, I know he's Japanese Brazilian. He does speak with an accent, though. Like, for me, that's something that I picked up on.
He does a little bit, yeah.
But he was born in Japan, though. That's interesting. I guess he just maybe he didn't go to standard Japanese school or
Could
something.
be something like that. I mean, I speak with a slight accent when I speak Japanese, too. And, it just depends on your experience with language. It's very complicated.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yes, I totally believe you, and I feel you. Next category are the other girls.
Oh, wait a minute.
Yes?
Because I put the thing in quotes, the female lead in quotes, because you were like, is she really the female lead or something? So could you elaborate on that?
Yeah, I mean, like, we've kind of, like, talked about it when we were discussing the summary, but the first episode, I don't think I even heard her voice.
Yeah. She's like a love interest / like weird muse or something like that.
Oh no!
She's Sora's inspiration.
Oh god. Oh no! I'm gonna throw up.
So yeah,
Okay,
that's
see.
why I thought it was, like, I guess she is technically the female lead. Like,
As much as females are allowed to be leads.
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah,
I mean, you're gonna see soon that there are a lot of male characters, like a lot, and there's really not that many female characters, actually.
yeah, like, 2 of them are just people in the background, basically.
Yeah. Or actually, one of them is not even in the show, but I just put her in there because she was on the official, like, website they had for Black School Rules, and she was mentioned because I think the actress is very famous, so she was on there, and she was in the movie, so she was in the casting list, so I just put her on there. I just kept her on there because she was mentioned in the first episode, but she's not even in the show.
Yeah.
All right, I want to get to her as soon as possible, so let's... She is juicy. But yeah,
okay.
the other girls, the second category, are Kirari, Kotone's lackeys, and Sora's younger sister, who, I believe we don't know her name.
So in the special, we learn her name, but in the drama, I paid close attention, was never mentioned.
Yeah.
Her name was never mentioned.
I mean, she's only in, like, 1 scene, 2 scenes in the drama, so...
Yeah. But
Wait,
she's
what?
still
She
actually
was-
listed on some drama wikis, whereas in the foreigner characters are not. We'll get back to that. But anyway.
Oh, we are.
Okay.
So who's Kirari?
Yes. Okay, so Kirari is a classmate, as we talked about, a classmate of Sora, also Mao, all the main characters. She's on the student council. She's the president. She's very organized, loves to follow rules, believes rules are necessary to avoid the chaos of life, and she doesn't know how to function without rules. But she does become more flexible, by the end of the series. She starts, opening up and starts, like, breaking some rules, and, she realizes, it's okay to bend the rules sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she wore a ponytail once and she liked it.
I feel like there should be, like, I kissed a girl, and I liked, like, I feel like there should be, like, I wore a ponytail, and I liked, like, there should be, like, an edit or something.
Oh, dear.
Oh, my name
Someone make
area
that.
is so
Someone
exposed.
make that. But yeah, I think actually she has a stronger story arc than I think most of the other characters.
Mm-hmm.
I think so, yeah. I really liked the how much in depth, I guess, they went into her feelings toward many things.
Yeah. They actually explored her. I
Like,
think more than
it
the
was actually
quote-unquote
yeah.
female lead, at least in the drama. Like,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, she is supposed to be Sora's mathematical soulmate,
Oh, dear.
so... Anyway, let's talk about someone who is. I don't think I even remember her being there, but like when you mentioned like that she's in there, I was like, oh right. I was like, wait, she had lackeys? Anyway,
they were there for like one episode. They were there for one episode.
Yeah.
Okay, I just included them because we're lacking women. Okay, we're lacking girls and women. I had to put someone in there.
Fair. So, yeah, Kotone is Sora's classmate, and she doesn't like Mao because apparently she's like, oh, you're lying about how your hair's brown. Like,
It's a weird thing to be pressed about. I don't know. I don't know.
she apparently has a crush on Sora and wants to be a part of the resistance group. I was not aware of this.
I mean, she seems kind of like okay, so this is kind of taking stuff from the special and a bit from the movie, but also in the drama too, you can kind of get little hints that she likes Sora because like the way she kind of looks at him and she's always talking to him like, oh hi, Sora. Like the way she like, I don't know, just the way she talks to him, you can tell she kind of has this like, you know, she's definitely like has very positive feelings about him and very negative feelings about Mao, and I think the drama is trying to show that like contrast of like, oh, she doesn't like Mao because she's kind of like jealous of her or something.
So they decided to show it by letting her say, oh, look who has black hair.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because that's literally the only scene I remember of her.
You know, because she comes up a little bit more in the special. I literally forgot her name.
I looked it up. That's all the only reason I knew. And also I watched a movie where she's featured more and she's a more important part. And that's where you find out she literally does have a crush on Sora. It's more kind of implied in the drama and in the special. Well, not really in the special, but in the drama a little bit it's implied because there is a time when she runs and I remember they're running and Mao is a little bit ahead of her, but she like runs at the end past Mao and beats her and she like tries to like rub it in her face or whatever, but Mao's just like, okay, whatever. Like Mao doesn't care, but like she's like, oh look, I beat, like she has his face like, oh I beat you, you know, and then she like talks to Sora and is like, you know, oh Sora, good luck or whatever. Like just the way she like talks to him, it's kind of like implied, I think the drama's trying to imply that she has kind of a crush on him or something.
Yeah,
I think,
she's in her own world. She is the main character and
Yes.
she has a rivalry with Mao who
Yes.
doesn't like, she's like, who was that? I don't know.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, she has a rivalry in her mouth. She's
basically,
like, now she's on my man. Like, you know, she's trying to take my man. Like that's her like fantasy world, you know. And Mao's just like, huh? Who are you? Oh yeah.
we talked a bit about like Kirari potentially being neurodivergent. Right now I'm thinking, is Mao neurodivergent? Because like she doesn't care that Kotone is being a bitch.
I don't think so. I mean, my reading of her is just like she has a really tough skin because she's needed to have a tough skin. Because like by high school, I'm sure she's gotten all kinds of comments and stuff from people over the years, and it's just like, just like,
and they won't even let her go to school
again. Yeah,
they won't even let her go to school. Like and also look at her mom. We'll come back to that, but like look at her upbringing. Like I mean, she's been through a lot. I think she just has tough skin. I think that's just what it is. She just doesn't care. Whereas Kotone's like, oh, you have brown hair. Oh no, you don't. Actually, no, you don't have brown hair. I don't know. Anyway. So I mentioned Kotone's lackeys. I don't know their names. They don't have names. They're never mentioned. They're just two girls that kind of like stand beside Kotone in like one episode when she's like teasing Mao and like, you know, she's like talking kind of smack, being like, oh, I knew her hair was really brown. You know, like they're there kind of to be just her, you know, backup, you know, just to be her yes men kind of thing. That's it. Like they literally never show up again, I think.
Yeah.
I just put them in there because I was like, we just don't have many girls, and I was like, oh yeah, they were in there too. That's it.
Oh, they need to be there because like the bullying group has to be 3 girls.
Yes, exactly. That's the show. So you have to have 2 other girls to like just be like, yeah, like, you know, just like agree with whatever the main girl says.
Yeah. She needs cheerleaders, whatever.
Yeah, she needs someone because she obviously has no one else.
Yeah.
She has no one else.
And then we have Sora's younger sister. Her name was not mentioned.
Not in the drama.
No,
and not in the the 7-episode drama. No.
Yeah, and the only, I guess, scene that I remember of her is that when Sora was like jumping up and down his bed. Yeah, she yelled and was like, you dumb brother.
She's always yelling at him. She's just always really angry at him. Which I don't know. I don't know if I blame her, honestly.
Yeah.
If she was my brother.
Yeah. She's very interesting because, like, we don't get to see much of her, but she clearly has a very strong characterization.
Yeah, she does. She has a very, like, it's very much, I feel like it's very, like, sympathetic to Sora's character, where it's like, oh, she's, like, always, like, you know, because, like, he's jumping because he's like, okay, I'm going to break the rules. I'm going to have fun. I'm going to do what I want. I'm going to, like, you know, do whatever. She's like, stop it, you know, you're so stupid, you know, like, she's, like, you know, yelling at him, telling him to stop, trying to stop his fun. And we always see her being diligent, doing her homework. Like, she's, like, the most studious, like, I don't know, 7-year-old, however she is, I don't know, 10, like, I don't know how old she is. But, like, she's, like, the most studious kid I've ever seen. Like, she's literally always just, like, doing work or something. Like, she's always doing her homework. Like, you know, and Sora is like, I gotta break the rules, you know? Like...
She sounds like almost like a little adult.
Yeah.
Yes.
She's like, she's a responsible one. Cause like,
is she even interested in having fun?
I don't know. That's the thing. I have no idea. She doesn't seem to be. She's always just,
we don't see enough of her to know. Really.
Yeah, exactly. We have no idea. All I know is that when I remember another scene, Sora goes, this is when he does the weird, like, kappa, broccoli, whatever monster get up. And he like gets the, what is it, like the sweets or whatever from the refrigerator, and he asks her about like what they are, and she's like, yeah, we're supposed to eat that after like dinner, and he like just takes it or whatever. She's like stupid brother, like that's all she does. She just yells at him and says he's stupid like every time he does anything that she like like, I don't know, I kind of feel like the drama wants to see her as kind of like nagging, because she's just always like saying stuff to him and always scolding him, even though I think she probably should, but like I feel like the drama is making it as
sure
negative.
She isn't secretly what's his name, the Shirogi sensei, like in little girl form?
No, she's not that bad. Oh my god, no.
We'll get to him. But for now, let's talk about the actual women.
Yes. So the actual women are Mrs. Machida, or Mao's mom, or Mari, you know, whatever you want to call her. Tamogami Sensei, Otawa Sensei, Mrs. Tsukioka, which is Chuya's mom. This random manager for the baseball team that I added because I didn't like how the Kocho Sensei made her rush to get some water for a photo op.
Oh yeah. That's what a baseball team manager does.
I know, but I still didn't like it. I didn't like it.
Oh, that was sarcasm. But
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's okay. It's a bit hard when you can't like see my face. But yeah, Tamogami Sensei, she teaches Japanese. She went to like the same school, which I actually don't know the name of.
Yeah, me neither. Actually, what's the name of the school? Do you know, Ayumi?
The name of the school? Oh, goodness. That's something you have to ask me before we start recording. I would have gone to look, but I do not recall.
Sorry, it's fine.
But
It's
they
okay.
definitely name drop a school, but like, it's not important.
It's not.
Yeah, because like the account and everything, we see the name of the school on the social media.
That's true.
So yeah,
We can look back and maybe we can figure it out.
It's not important enough. I'm not gonna like confession during like the research process of for this episode. Faith asked me to confirm things in the drama, and I was like, I can't physically do that to myself. I can't go back to watching that. I'm sorry. It's not important. Just delete this bit. Okay, episode continue. So yeah, she went to the same school when she was in high school, of course. And she had, I guess, romantic relationship?
I mean, you can change that. You can change it to whatever you want, honestly.
She had what she thought was a consensual romantic relationship with her teacher, like her direct teacher. I can't remember if he's her homeroom teacher or not, but like he was someone that taught her at this school when she was still, you know,
and the principal was the principal at that time as well.
Yes. And that teacher, that very, very nice and kind teacher, he bought her a kanzashi, which is like it looks a bit like one single chopstick. You can like stick it in your hair if you have long hair, and like the hair won't drop or something. I'm sorry, I cut my hair too long ago. Yeah, she still wears it to this day apparently. And like
Yes.
I'm like I don't know why you would do that, but yeah, the teacher, because he died saving a student from drowning. We can't talk shit about him too much. And of course, because Tamogami Sensei like is so very sad about it, which like I get it. Like when someone passes away, you mourn their death, and like I guess she is still in love with him.
Of course. 'Cause, I mean, it's very unfortunate because it's like, you know, it's people have very different ways that they like deal with this particular thing. Like, I think that it's not really great representation. It's like, I don't know how to put this. This is something that happens a lot. Not a lot, but like it does happen, right? It's an unfortunate thing. Happens all over the world because unfortunately there are bad teachers all over the world.
Yeah.
And despite whatever else he did that would make him a great hero, he's still a bad teacher because of this.
Yeah.
And I think that like, you know, her as a student, she never actually got like closure for that relationship. So it makes sense to me that like she would, you know, still keep it. I don't know. Like for me, I think it's fine to show like students being interested in teachers because that's normal.
Yeah.
I can say from my experience as a teacher that having taught teenagers, it is definitely. I've had the unfortunate experience of being like, okay, this kid is definitely way too interested in my class. But, you know, like we... You know, but they're like, it's very much like, well, obviously I'm not going to do anything because this is a child.
Yeah.
You know, I would never, I could never do that. But like, it's a very natural thing. So I think it's good to show that in a story, but like, this is not a good example of that. Because they don't even like talk about it being a problem or anything.
No. They gloss over that real quick.
Yeah, because like that was the bad part of these, the representation of this aspect of like, you know, the reality of the world. But when Juya had a crush on Tamogami Sensei, she thankfully does not return the feeling. And on the one hand, I'm glad that like she doesn't do that. But on the other, like, she just cites the school rules instead of, you know, explaining that it is ethically questionable. Well, not just questionable, but it's ethically wrong to basically take advantage of this imbalanced of this teacher-student relationship
with this big power imbalance
where the nature where there's like a power imbalance, like there's an inherent power imbalance.
And also he's a child and adult, and that's
Yes.
really creepy. And also the thing for me is because she says it's a school rule, they make it seem like it's just as like, you know, because some of these school rules are quite ridiculous, right? Like it's like, oh, you shouldn't have, everyone has to have black hair, or like you can't wear a ponytail, and it's like they're putting it on the same level, it seems, as the other school rules. It's like, no, this one actually needs to be like enforced. Like this is not the same.
This is a very good rule.
This is not the same. Like it's all the same level. And I'm gonna come back to this later because I was very angry when I saw that episode. Like it made me furious. Like I was like so upset. I messaged Wathanya and I was like, what is going on? Like I was so upset.
Yeah.
Oh yes, I remember.
But like, yeah, I have a lot to say about it. But yeah, no, the way they frame it, the way the drama frames it, it's really irresponsible, I think. Like just the way they do it, it makes it seem like it's on the same level, and it's like, no, this is a very different situation. Like, anyway, speaking of thirsty teachers,
smooth transition.
the thirstiest, Otoa Sensei. So she's the English teacher at the school. She is pretty strict. She's a busybody. She's, you know, obsessed with making the students follow the rules. She's just always like, skirt down, skirt too short. Like, you know, she's just always there barking at students to, like, follow the rules. She's a harsh enforcer. She's always in the morning. You see her and, what's his name? Teshirogi? What's his name? Teshirogi Sensei. Like, they're both the hard enforcers. They're like every morning, like, okay, you know, you gotta follow dress codes, make sure your hair is right, you know, not wearing a ponytail, make sure your buttons up. Like, they're like really strict on like the students. She also has this not so secret crush on Mori Sensei. She tries to do a lot to get him to notice her. Like, she pretty much stalks him. And, like, follows him to, like, Mal's house. Because, like, he's going to Mal's house because, you know, she didn't come to school or something like that. You know, doing his job. And she's just, like, stalking him because she's obsessed with him. And so she tries to get him to notice her. But he's, like, he's not interested. I don't think he's, like,
honestly,
at all.
you could easily have an ace reading for Mori Sensei.
Yeah, I thought about that.
He's just like so completely. I mean, well, one thing, his first love is math, right? Because like that's all he talks about. But like, yeah. Very bad influence on Soda. But like, you have because like. Yeah, like he just like does not. I mean, even when he's like talking to Soda about other stuff, like about the rules and stuff, he's like still talking about math. Like he does. He is a very like one-track mind in a really delightful way. Like I think he's really interesting.
It's cute. Like I think it's kind of endearing. Yeah.
But yeah, like he's every time like he's interacting, especially with Otawa Sensei, he's always like, huh? What,
he has no idea. Like, I thought about this, but I thought maybe I was stretching too hard. I'm glad it's not just me, because I was like, is he 8? Like, I was like, he seems a little, like, he's just not, because even when he goes over, for example, he goes to, like, Mal's house, right, to Mari and Mal's house, like, he's with, you know, Mari for quite a while waiting for Mal, but, like, you know, there's no, like, you know, tension there. There's no, like, you know, it's nothing. It's literally just he's there and she asks him to do silly stuff and he does it and that's it. Like, it's literally the most innocent thing ever. And so, I just don't think he has any interest in that. Like, he doesn't seem to be interested.
At minimum, he's not interested in, like, women romantically, it seems, in his life.
Yeah, at least. Yeah, it seems not at all. Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah, and
bare minimum.
Yes, the bare minimum. We have to grab the scraps. We have to get a little, like, anything we can find. I mean, hey, last episode we literally gave LGBTQ representation to a like
a t-shirt.
So
Jesus.
Oh my god.
Sorry. So in Hanari Gango 2, the main character, she wears a Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Oh god, yes. Okay. I forgot about that.
That's the representation. That's the representation.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
That's the level. That's the level.
Yeah.
So this is actually more concrete than that. So I say let's go with it. So she gets jealous of Mori Sensei always, I guess, going too frequently to Mal, and Mari's house. And she pretty much, like, threatens to, like, expose him going too much because, like, he, like, report him to, like, the principal because, like, she's like, oh, there's no man in the house. You shouldn't be going. It's inappropriate, blah, 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 blah.
And it's like, what does that matter? That doesn't mean anything. Like, he's doing his job, and he's like, huh? Oh, I guess. That's weird.
He's like, he doesn't even question. He's just like, oh, okay. Like, he just doesn't even care. Like, he just doesn't care. He's just doing his job. That's it. And, like, I don't know. I kind of read, this might just be my interpretation, but I kind of read the uptight woman who just needs to get laid stereotype. Like, that, like, just, like, screams at me. It's like, she's just so uptight, but it's like, she really wants a man, she's a man, so then she'll be, more laid back and, like, not so uptight or whatever. And it's like, okay.
Because, like, she can't even ask him out without, like, the context of school rules.
Yeah, that's so sad. What is her life like? Does she have a social life? Does she have hobbies? Like, what does she do?
It doesn't sound like she does.
It's so sad because it's like she's trying to get a man, but it's like, literally, woman, what do you do outside of school? Like, do you have a life? Like, do you do anything?
She should, I don't know, go to, like, a therapist.
Yeah, no.
Well, that's a lot of people in this show.
Yeah, I think that's most people on the show, but okay.
But yeah, speaking of people who might need to go see a therapist, we're gonna talk about Mari Machida. She is Mal's mom. She's apparently fun and cool and
she
somewhat
has
eccentric.
that kind of like vibe, right? The cool mom, like, ooh.
Well, she's saying she's homework. A cool mom. She's like Amy Poehler's character in Mean Girls.
Oh God, that changes everything.
That's how I interpret her. Is like, I mean. You could definitely get into, like, what her whole thing is, like, her writing is a character who apparently got married to an American. We don't know what happened to that American, but,
Yeah, it's really, it's really scary when you think about it. She doesn't even have his last name, right?
Well,
which, I mean, it's fine.
There's a thing that's interesting that you pointed out, because, like, that is a thing where, in Japan, typically, you have to choose one of the surnames of a couple when you get married. Except,
I've heard
except
of
in
that.
the case of a Japanese person marrying a foreigner, in which case it's okay for the Japanese person to keep their last name.
Oh, that's very convenient.
Huh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think I've heard of that. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's very interesting. Yeah, huh.
Yeah, because Faith, you're married.
But the thing is, though, I'm the foreigner and I'm the female, so like either way, it wouldn't apply to me because I'm not a Japanese like citizen. You know, I can do whatever I want.
Yeah.
But if I was female, if my partner was female and I was male, then they could, they could choose one.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's not
okay.
gendered exactly, but
Oh, it's not
yeah,
gendered.
like it is.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
I mean,
That's good.
but it's I guess typically seen in the case of Japanese women and foreign men. Like that's usually the example that
Oh,
we
I
see,
see.
especially in fiction. I notice a lot.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, well, yeah. I mean, I've just kept my name because I just can't be bothered. But I just don't want to go through all the mess.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And that's interesting because I had to. Well, I didn't have to, but when either me or my spouse, we had to change.
Because you have
We're both
Japanese.
Japanese,
Okay,
so
yeah.
yeah.
I see.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah,
thanks for
well,
sharing that.
apparently, thank you for sharing that. Apparently, Mari wants to keep her name so that she could keep sending her only daughter to a Japanese school and not be bullied.
Even though
I guess
she still can't go to school.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. She's not bullied by the students. Not necessarily. She's bullied by the school, not the students. That's different.
I guess that's better.
I suppose it
Question mark?
is.
Okay.
Yeah, she's apparently supportive of Mao and wants her to do what she wants. I can't really remember much of her, but I remember her being open and friendly. I also remember her being a gaijin hunter.
Oh yeah.
Big
If
time.
you don't know what that means, it basically means a Japanese person who is just looking for a token partner who is a foreigner so they can seem cool, I guess,
Yeah.
or they want to experiment. But yeah, at least the good representation,
Well,
I
kinda.
guess,
It's
quote
fair,
unquote
at
good
least.
representation was that she was a single mother.
Yeah,
like,
Fair.
single mothers exist.
Yeah.
Question mark.
Yeah, question
it's
mark.
confirmed, it's only Mari and Mao in the household, but we don't
That's
know
true.
anything
That's
about
true.
the marital
That's
status.
true. In the drama, they tell you nothing.
Yeah.
Like in the movie, you get a better sense, but in the drama, they don't even bother.
Yeah. And Inoue is hitting on her all
Yeah,
the time, so
yeah. It's really
it
creepy.
seems like she's single.
Yeah, I think
And she's also very interested in Kofi and the other guys, so
Oh my god, the way
know.
she grabbed his arm. Oh my god, like.
oh my god. That I was so flabbergasted when that happened. I was
I have some things
she's
to say.
really gonna go that far.
I have some things to say
Yeah,
about that.
I'm sure.
like, yes.
When we get there, yes.
Yes. Oh, damn. And also her representation question mark that is definitely not good is a women be cooking.
I just put that because it's for me, I think I put that in there because I just thought it was to me it was kind of, I don't know, it just seemed like the typical okay, she's a woman, she's there, she has to be cooking, all the foreign and all the factory workers come to her house to eat her food specifically, and it's do they not cook? None of them none of them know how to cook. How do they live? What do they just buy convenience store food every day? What's
Some people are like
what's
that,
happening
but
here?
yeah.
It's I mean, yeah, no, I believe it. No, I know some people are, but it's just it's just it would have been nice if one of the foreign workers or even Inoue-san could cook. Maybe he makes a meal. That would have been nice to see. But no, it's well, the women are there, so they got to be cooking. And I don't know. I just like to see something different, and it's just it seems like the women kind of just go in their little it's well, she's a woman, and I get it. She's a single mother, so she has to cook, because she's the only parent there. But it's she's also cooking for all the other people as well, and I don't know, it just made me feel a little bit
It's
weird.
also more clear in the specials, but I don't think she's a good cook, actually. Yeah.
Oh, okay. But she still has to cook anyway, though. Even though she's not good, she still has to be the cook.
I think she enjoys cooking, which is, valid that some people are like that.
Yeah, that's good.
She
That's
enjoys
good.
cooking
That's
for
good. She likes
everyone.
it.
And having them, all these
That's
foreigners be
great.
oh my god, you're cooking so amazing. Which is, again, another thing
Oh,
she has
God.
in common with my mom.
Does that apply? Does that imply something? It's the foreigners think it's good, but the Japanese people don't?
There
Is
could be
is
something there,
Is
but
that something-
because, okay, so my mom I grew up thinking my mom was a good cook, and everyone around me told me she was a good cook, especially in comparison to my American family. And then I met my great aunt and great uncle who own a restaurant, and I realized that my mom is actually the worst cook in her family.
Oh, no.
Like, her cooking is fine, but it's very interesting that that's like a thing. Where it's like what is considered good cooking or not good cooking is definitely very relative, and that also applies to me because like I make some things that for me are like, oh, this is just okay, and my spouse is like, oh my god, this is like the best thing I've ever had, and I'm like, okay, we can calm down.
Yeah. Calm down. It's just soup. It's just soup.
Well, I have a very high bar for food.
Oh no. It's very relative. That's true. But I guess it's just I would have liked to see one of the men cook. That would have been nice. Yeah, just some male cooking representation.
Well, actually, we do have to give Sora that because he did cook the somen.
Oh yeah, that's true. I forgot about it. See, I don't even remember what Sora does. Like, it's just so bland. Like, I forgot he did something. Okay. All right, fine. I'll give it to Sora for cooking. So that's the best thing he's done in the whole show.
Cooking somen for his crush. Got it.
Oh, okay. Well, don't taint it. Wathanya, don't taint it. Then also Mrs. Tsukioka, which is Chuya's mom, and Fumiya, his older brother's mom, and she I don't know how to feel about her either, because she like apparently would like scold Chuya for lying, but she would like when he was younger, but she would threaten him with this like broccoli monster, which looks like kind of like a kappa, but like with broccoli hair head or something, and big eyes or whatever, and like it scared him a lot when he was a child, and so she would threaten like, oh, if he didn't behave, then the broccoli monster would come if he didn't behave or he didn't tell the truth. And so I don't know how to feel about that. Also now, because unfortunately her husband passed away, she's also a single mother, and I'm assuming she must be cooking because, well, the father was working all the time, and also now he's passed away, so I'm assuming she also did all the cooking.
Let's talk about more interesting female characters. No. It's just like I thought it was
literally
so,
wasn't
like,
in the show.
Yeah, because like so when I saw the list of female characters, one just like jumped out at me, and it was Virginia Woolf. I was like, who the fuck is Virginia Woolf?
You were like, Faith, is this a typo? Like,
I love that because it's like, instead of who's afraid of Virginia Woolf, it's who the fuck is Virginia Woolf? It's a new version.
Yeah, she's apparently the cleaning lady.
Yeah.
Yes.
She didn't really come up much in the drama, but apparently she came up in the movie, I believe you said.
Yeah, she was in the movie. Yeah, she's in the movie. She's she's a bit focal to the movie. Like, she's like, not, of course, not the main character, but like she's pretty frequently throughout the movie. Yeah, she appears frequently. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe I'm not too disgusted by the movie now. No, just kidding.
There.
No, it's just so random.
Woolf, our feminist icon. She's the protagonist we deserve.
It's like she got that nickname from like how she looks like Virginia Woolf from like her left or something. I don't know.
Apparently.
Yeah, I don't even know. But yeah, it's interesting because like
it
must have been the case of like the actress was not available to be in the drama because like they go to her cleaning lady space all the time.
Yeah.
There are like full scenes in that area, but she's never around.
Yeah. And they even mentioned her in the first episode. Like, it's like, like, I think because the movie, I think she was just so prominent in the movie, and also the actress is very famous. So I think, they just had to keep it. Yeah, they're in that cleaning room a lot. Yeah, that's true. They are there a lot. Even though she's not there. She's never there. Sure.
And do you want to talk about that, like, manager?
I we've already talked about it, but like, yeah, I said like this random like manager for the baseball team who like the principal makes like rushes over to give Nana some water for this like photo op where he pretends like he's just slid and like I guess caught a ball and like they want to show that she's like giving water to him or whatever. Like, oh, this is the intense like practices we have at the school, I guess. I don't know, but like the principal has some weird fantasy. Like
the principal is a very interesting character. Yeah.
Yes, he is. He is very interesting, actually. But yeah, so I just want to include her because I thought it was just weird that, like, you know, she's the manager or whatever. I'm assuming she's the manager, not the coach, just because of, you know, sexism.
Sure.
But, like, you know, and also the fact that, like, he tells her to rush over there and give that, like, you know, like, I feel like if she was the coach, he would not talk to her that way. Like, I don't know. Like, it just felt a little too, like, I mean, I guess he's the principal. I guess he's in charge or whatever. But, like, it still felt a little... Like, the way he addressed her just seemed a bit, like, come on, you, hurt her. It was just like, I don't know, it just bothered me. I didn't like it. So that's why I put her in there. Give that woman representation. I mean, she didn't have a name, but she was there, and I recognize her. I recognize her work.
Yes. Well, sadly, that is the end of the representation for the female characters, and now we have to talk about the nasty boys and men. So, we've divided them into 3 categories as well. There's the incessant narrators. God, just... the other boys, and the actual men. Like, you know, adult men.
Okay, I'm sorry. I know we're starting the men, but I do want to make... I just realized again that I forgot to mention with Mao. The reason why I put the other girls in the first like category with the girls and women is because I felt like Mao was seen as kind of like not like the other girls. There was kind of that coding, I think, as well of like, oh, she's different, you know, obviously being different because she's like, you know, half, but also like she's, you know, not like the other girls. She's not really into like, I don't know, like she seems like she's kind of like a different type of girl, I guess, than the typical girl, right? Like personality wise as well. And so I thought that was, kind of interesting as well. It was like the typical like guys like, oh, well, she's different, you know, and that's why I love her so much. And, you know, it's like, he doesn't know her, but anyway. He knows nothing about her, but he assumes like she's different. So I just, I wanted to mention that. But okay, so now let's talk about the boring bread, white stale bread. That is Sora. So he's the main character, apparently. Most of the story is, I guess, kind of seen through, or like from his eyes, him and Chuya's point of view. Like, they keep going back to commentary, and they comment on every event that happens. Like, and that's why we call them the incessant narrators, because they just, like, keep talking, and I'm just like, please stop. Like, can we go back to the scene? I want to see the scene. Sora is... he's a very awkward, shy boy who doesn't stand out too much, you know. He has a crush on his classmate Mal, who he admires because she does stand out, I guess, and also her beautiful brown hair, slightly brown hair. And he tries to change the school rules so that Mal can attend the school and graduate with everyone. And by everyone, he means him. And also, I guess if she's not at school, he doesn't have a chance with her, so yeah. Our protagonist.
Yes, our very, very interesting protagonist. Well, his friend is much more interesting.
Yeah.
That would be Chuya Tsukiyoka.
Oh,
was it Tsukioka or Tsukiyoka?
Sorry,
Tsukioka, right? Yeah. Tsukioka,
Mm-hmm.
and he's apparently best friends with Sora, but it's like the total opposite of him, which translates to not boring.
Yeah.
He is
not bread,
very.
not bread.
He is, I don't know, whole wheat bread.
He's like rye or something. Like he's like
a little spicy.
he works at the bakery.
A little different, you know. Put a little kick in there, like.
Yeah, maybe some. Oh, if I may, put in raisins.
Ooh, wow! You're really going out.
We're going a bit too far with this. But yeah, he's like this really easygoing guy who's just like, who seems to be like super friendly with everyone, but is only really friends with Sora for some reason. I guess he needs to compensate for him being too much.
Yeah, probably. He's a boring, like.
Yeah.
Lay off him.
Sadly, his father passed away right before he started high school. I actually
think
don't
so.
remember
Yeah,
this.
it seems
I
like
think
that.
that's what they
Yeah,
said.
like
Is that-
it's something that
Yeah.
happened like where it's like not something that happened during high school for sure. Yeah.
I see. So his father passed away sometime before he started high school. And his mom is a single mother, as we mentioned earlier. And so he has a part-time job, which is against the rules, that he does so he could, like, you know, help his mom make ends meet, because they still want to go to school and
live.
eat and live
How dare they?
and shower.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And he has a crush on Tamogami Sensei, which is fine as long as he didn't, like, you know, do anything.
Like stalk her
To her,
or harass
yeah.
her. Like all the other guys, actually.
Yeah,
Well, no,
Yeah.
actually, Sora and Otoa Sensei, they stalk
Yeah.
and lurk.
Yeah. With Juya, he's just like,
Yeah, he doesn't. He doesn't do that.
like,
I mean,
Tamogami
yeah.
Sensei is so beautiful. And that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's fine. Like he can do that by himself.
Yeah.
You know? Okay, so the other boys are Nana, Michiro, Georgie, and Azuma.
Yeah, Nana. Nana is, I guess, more typically female when it comes to names. But the Nana doesn't come from his first name. His first name is Keita. But his surname, his family name is Nanaura. So they called him Nana. And he plays baseball. I think Ayumi mentioned earlier that he really likes playing baseball, but he's really bad at it, which is a huge mood.
Yes.
And,
I admire that. I
think
admire
that's, like-
someone who's like,
I think that's
I'm gonna
really,
still do
honestly, like, that in itself is a great representation because, like, there's so many stories, like, especially sports, like, TV shows and movies and so on, of, like, people trying really hard and finally getting, like, you know, the top score and something, and it's like, no, he sucks, but it's fine.
Yeah,
And he, like, and
he still does it anyway.
He loves it, and
Yeah.
he also, like, he looks like he would be good at baseball, if that makes sense.
Yeah, he does. He has that stereotypical Japanese
Yeah.
baseball player look. He he looks like he should be good. Yeah.
It's the short hair. It's the short hair.
It's the buzz cut. Yeah, like he just looks like he was made to play like Japanese baseball. Like he just looks like he doesn't look.
Yeah.
But like no, he's bad, and I think that's really great representation because like I wish I would have seen more of that growing up, honestly, because I think for me I've kind of have it fixed in my head that like if I'm not good at something I shouldn't do it, right? Because I'm like, oh well, I'm bad, and I'm not gonna be good, and so I might as well stop or quit or whatever. But I like that he just keeps doing it, you know, no matter what.
Yeah. He's like, I enjoy trying.
Wow.
And like,
That's so refreshing.
oh yeah. Yeah, just go and try your best, my man. Like, I honestly don't know why he is Michiro's lackey.
Yeah, I mean, he kind of is in the beginning. Like, he's kind of with him, but he grows. He actually changes. So him and Kirari actually do grow throughout the series more than the main characters.
Yes.
actually.
Yeah, like, he wants to be able to bike to school because, like, he has to walk 40 minutes to and from school every day, which makes him, like, sleep during class, which, like, mood. And one interesting thing about him is he's actually the person that created the resistance.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was interesting. I did not expect that. That was actually a twist.
Yeah. So he's been an op from
Like,
the beginning. Like
He's been part of the
Yes.
resistance.
Yes.
Revolutionary
Yeah.
Nada. Revolutionary boy Nada. Yes, let's get it. Let's do it.
I think he was inspired by Sora-ish. Like,
Sorta,
inspired-ish
yeah.
by Sora. Because, like,
Kinda.
Sora did that, like, survey thing. And Michiro told him to throw the box away. So, instead of throwing the box away, he just, like, looked at the names of the people who, like, would want to change the rules. And he left them notes,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, like
and
the
if he made
website.
that website, he needs to enter like computer science
he
or
make
something
the
because
website?
that's very
Exactly. Did he make that? That's the thing I wondered. I was like, who made the site? Because if he made that,
Yeah, it's
he's
so good.
amazing. Like, what? Like, get him in a program. Like, he should be literally, computer science. Like come on, Anna. Like, you've got talent. You. I mean, you can still do baseball on the side, but the world
Yeah.
needs you.
And then, like, you have all the avatars and stuff with a lot of options apparently. Like,
I know.
Yeah,
Those are
yeah.
really good. Yeah. That's so individualized. Like, you can't even get
For
that in
sure.
some video games still. You know? Like, you can't get that much
Sadly not.
customization. Like, yeah. No, I do wonder. Do they actually even? Is it like that he made it?
they don't
No,
really
it was-
they don't
did they
explore
say that
that
specifically?
like in detail, but like it would have to be
Hmm.
implied that there was some. He had to do at least a little bit of something, right, for that to work.
Yeah, to have the link,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, he must have done something. But it's like if he made that,
Yeah,
wow,
while he was
wow,
walking,
Nana.
walking to school
Wow.
and back, he's like working on the
Exactly.
website.
Like,
It's a lot of time.
wow. It's like, oh my God. That's a lot of
Mhm.
effort. I think that should be recognized. If he did that, bravo.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
Yeah.
Bravo. That's for Nana.
Yeah, go Nana.
Or maybe I should clap
My new
7
favorite
times.
character. Oh God, no. Please don't do that.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So now on to Michiro Matsumoto, who's the student council vice president. He's the leader of the like little group that him and Joji and Nana have. Like he's kind of the boss or whatever. They pretty much do whatever he says, except for Nana, like, you know, kind of disobeys him because, you know, he's got an arc. But he bullies other students through physical force or by getting his lackeys to do it. Mostly his lackeys just do it. He tells them, oh, hit this person. Oh, do this person. Okay. Yeah. All right. Stop. All right. Like he just commands them and tells them what to do. But he acts like an upstanding student in front of like the teachers and stuff. And he's like a good athlete. And so Teshirogi sensei really likes him. He's pretty much his favorite. And so Teshirogi sensei allows him to have a smartphone, even though that's against the rules. Like he's not supposed to have a smartphone at school, but like he lets him do it because he likes him. And Michiro actually uses his phone to record Teshirogi sensei physically assaulting a student, but that never goes
Yeah,
anywhere.
he-
Well,
I
it's
guess
like-
he
yeah,
just
he,
watches
he
it.
bribed him basically with that.
Oh, he bribed. Oh, okay.
that was
'cause he
my
like,
understanding.
he-
Was like he.
Oh, okay.
Like
okay.
he's
what
allowed
did he
to
bribe him for?
like my understanding of that instance was like he had recorded the assault, ergo he's allowed to have his smartphone during school hours.
Ah, I see.
Yeah.
I see. Okay. I see.
Ah.
Okay.
Well,
It's like you
All
don't
right,
let
I
me have
didn't
your
catch that.
phone, then like I'm gonna I don't know, maybe he has the assault video in the cloud or something, but I don't know.
Ah,
it's
like,
2019. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
he definitely could. Yeah, because in the movie, actually, I mean, I'm sorry, I keep going back to the movie because I have watched it, so I keep like
Yeah,
going
it's
back
probably
to it, even
more
though we're gonna have
interesting.
another episode about the movie and maybe comparing the movie to the show as well. But you know, in the movie, there's more of a like kind of an arc, like a concrete art about that, like about him having that footage and like you know using it and actually like exposing it or whatever. Okay, I didn't catch it, but yeah, like that's interesting that he uses it just to like you know be able to keep his smartphone out pretty much, like just so he can keep it himself.
It
Okay,
seems like
that's
something like
interesting.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
And he has another lackey that is a Nana who is called Joji Urushido. He's like, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but he is more boring than Sora. He's just.
They found someone more boring than Sora.
Like, he
We did it.
he pretty much just does whatever Michiro says, and he plays basketball.
He's also better in the movie.
Okay.
Interesting. Okay.
Good to know. Good to
better in
know.
the movie, too.
Yeah. What else? Nothing.
I feel like they skipped out on a lot of development in the drama, even though they had more episodes
Yeah,
and time.
it's interesting.
They somehow skipped on the character development for some reason.
It was
Maybe they
painful
were
to watch.
presuming that like people would go into it having watched the movie.
Ah,
You know,
maybe
you know how
was
that is
it.
sometimes. And
Mm.
yeah.
Maybe it's like supplementary to like the movie. It's like, okay, well, you've seen the movie. Now we're gonna do it again, but we're not gonna actually give them.
And then they still messed it up, so they had to do the Hulu special.
They still messed it up. Like that's what I was telling Wathanya. It's like I was like they had to do this thing 3 times. They had to do this show 3 times because they got it wrong. Like they couldn't get it right.
And they had to get
Stop
a
doing it.
different white guy to play Mao's dad.
Oh no, actually, it's not his. Okay, you'll find. We'll talk about it later. But it's actually
Oh.
like Ayumi thankfully was able to catch like what was going on, and we find out that it's not her dad actually. Which
Spoiler alert.
which is still strange though because we don't see her dad,
Mm-hmm.
but at all.
Her dad is a mystery.
Yeah, it's still a mystery,
Huh.
but yeah, okay. Well, now to some better representation. Shion Azuma, who's like a classmate of Sora and Chuya and all the main characters. So he actually has a stutter. He gets made fun of for having it. But we find out later, like we talked about in the summary, Chuya finds out that he actually can express himself really well through rapping. And through rapping, he kind of overcomes his fear of communicating and, you know, is able to like make some friends with like the factory workers and Chuya. So I mean, his arc is also a bit better in the movie, but it's still nice that it's there in the drama.
Yeah, I think that was a like pretty nice arc, like compared to everything else.
Almost everyone else.
Yeah, and you know, I know we're going to talk about it a bit more later, but like the fact that they were able to find someone who is actually a person who has a stutter and is good at rap. It's like, that's great.
Yes, that was
so it's
pretty
like you would assume the character was made for the actor.
Yeah, I feel like, I don't know, did they see him and they were like, oh, let's make this movie? Like, I have so many questions, but I do wonder, because it's like, you know, you have the rapping foreigners, and there's no coincidence there. They must have known, like, okay, we're going to have him in there.
Again,
so
the casting call, foreigners. Very important.
Yeah,
yes.
They're like, they were like, rapping foreigners. Foreigners who can rap in Japanese. Wanted, you know, and they were like, oh, black people rap, okay, let's get 2 black people.
And only the men, the women obviously cannot
only
rap.
Women, no, women can't rap. Come on.
Well, Moni was kind of rapping.
Sort of. Like they let her rap, but Mao never raps though, considering that she's like their friend and she's always around them. Like you think she'd, you know, do a little.
Well, she likes to
spit
do
a few bars.
She's an artist.
Oh,
so.
I see. That's her thing.
Yeah.
Okay,
obviously you can't do 2 different artistic things.
You can't have 2 talents in the show. You can't have 2. Well, I mean, I think it's just weird because they even have like Shuya and Sora rap,
right,
and not Mao. Like, I'm just like, why? Like, she's hanging around them all the time.
Well,
you think she'd spit
maybe
a few bars?
She can't rap. I don't know. Like, rap is hard.
Yeah, maybe she can. Yeah. It is, but Sora did it though. Ayumi. Sora.
Yeah, that was interesting. It was an experience.
If Sora hadn't done it, I would have been like, okay, yeah, maybe she's just bad and that's fine. But they let Sora do it. They could have let Mao do it.
Yeah.
No. No.
So those were the boys. And now we gotta get into the men. The actual men, like, there are too many actual men in this series. Like, way too many.
For this high school, like, show.
Yeah, it was supposed to be about high school, but there was a bunch of old men. Anyway, these men are, and this is a bit of a long list. There's Mori sensei, there's Deshirogi sensei, there's the principal, there's Inoue-san, Grayson, Kofi, Jiru, Chuya's boss, Fumiya, who, I guess he's technically an adult, I guess. He, graduated high school, so we're calling him an actual man.
And he works, yeah.
He works, yes. He has become a shakaijin.
Yes.
That is how you prove you have already become a man. And then there's the factory foreman.
You gotta mention him.
And then there's that he who must not be named. No, I'm kidding. He's just a teacher who was not named. He was the guy that was in a relationship with, oh god, I forgot her name. Tamogami sensei. And then they're a bit non-existent.
They're not in the drama, but I put them anyway because they're in the special. I just put them there,
yeah. Well, the first non-existent person is unfortunately deceased. That would be Mr. Skioka. He was, I guess he still is, Chuya's dad.
Yes.
And then there is the non-existent father of our quote-unquote female lead, Mr. I assume Machida.
No, actually, we don't know. We have no idea.
We don't know. He's a mystery.
Yeah,
and again, as far as the 7-episode drama is concerned, we don't even know if he's American. We don't even know if he's a white. Actually, throughout the whole thing, we don't know if he's a white. We just assume that because of the actress. But like, it's just it's a mystery.
Yeah. They don't even bother. Like, it's very strange. It's very strange. He literally is he who must not be named, like, or mentioned in any way. Okay, so the main guy or man, I guess, is Mori Sensei. He's like, I guess, the closest to an adult, like, man protagonist. Sort of. And so he's the math teacher. And also the homeroom teacher of all the main characters. So he's obsessed with math, but he's also obsessed with kendo. Like, he really likes kendo. And he's like the kendo club coach, I believe, or something like that. Like, he's in charge of the kendo club. But apparently he doesn't really do kendo, like, or something. So he is pretty easygoing, always I don't know. I just put this as my own commentary. Kind of looks out of it. Like most of the time that I see
yeah.
his face is so vacant.
It's true. It's true.
It just always looks like he's out of it. But he does genuinely care about his students, and he does think the school rules are a bit too much. So he does like join the resistance, and like they find out in the last episode, like, oh yeah, he's also a part of the resistance, and like he's been helping out, and well, we'll talk about the special later, but yeah, he was very involved with the resistance.
His actor looks a lot like someone I know, and so like the whole time I'm just like biased. I didn't really like get to know him as a character because every time I see his face, it's like, oh, it's this other person I know. Wait, no, it isn't.
Oh, no.
But maybe it is. Does he like secretly like act? I don't know.
Ask him, find out. Ooh, if you know this person, get an interview. Oh my god,
That would be fun.
that would be so fun.
Yeah. No, because like I think like you said, Faith, like he definitely seems to appear vacant. Like it's more like he doesn't seem to really ever follow what's going on.
Yes.
But
yeah.
like he clearly, I mean, again, he's a math teacher. He loves numbers, and that's like the first thing we learn about him is like he's like, oh, the language of the world is math and all that stuff. and like Sora has to be like, we're not talking about math. Stop talking about math.
Even Sora, the person who literally uses math to like dictate his love life, is like, don't talk about math now. This is important. Like, like I think, I think the fact that Sora has to stop him from talking math shows how much he loves math. Like, it's like, it's
Come
very
to
interesting.
think of it, do you think Mori Sensei is just always high?
If this wasn't Japan, I would think that. Like if it wasn't Japan, because it's Japan, I'm like, I don't think so.
That's a very serious rule to break.
Yes,
so
that would be really that would be
a very
rule.
different show.
That like they would take that more seriously than the like child grooming.
Yes,
absolutely. literally. Like I'm not even kidding, like at all. So it's just I don't think he's. If it was America, I would be like, he probably he's high. But because it's Japan, I think he just is like that. I think he's just has a vacant face. But I also think he might just do it on purpose as well, and to some extent, like I think it's what he does naturally, but I think also he uses it to his advantage because, like, I remember when he, like, then in the morning they were checking for, like, the teachers are always checking to make sure the kids are following the school rules and following the dress code or whatever. Mm-hmm. I remember Toshirogi sensei is telling Mori sensei, oh, make sure you look at them, make sure you get them, like, make sure you check them, like, thoroughly or whatever. And, like, Mori sensei is just kind of like, he's just not, like, he just doesn't care. Like,
Oh my god.
So I think he used that to his advantage. It's like he's just always out of it, so he can just like pretend like, oh, I just don't know. Sorry. What's going on?
He's a real one for sure, but it's just like a very interesting character.
Oh yeah.
And speaking of Teshirogi Sensei, he apparently teaches physical education.
He's a PE teacher. He looks like a PE teacher. Like he has that.
Yeah. He has the energy.
Well, if by abusive PE teacher energy, he does have that abusive energy. He loves enforcing the school rules.
Actually, it's kind of creepy. Actually,
it's almost like he just wants to like beat the students, and he's just using the school rules to like
he loves to yell at students. It's definitely a thing.
He yells at them, humiliates them in public. He physically beats them, and he also apparently thinks that teachers have lost a lot of their power in recent years. And,
like there was a scene he talks to Sora like, oh, like, he's like in the beginning, like when Sora's trying to say he wants to change, like he's doing the survey box, right? And he's, oh, well, teachers already have like lost, like pretty much like they can't like just beat students in front of everyone like they used to, right? Like he wants to be able to do that, and he can't do that, and so he feels like the school rules are like the only thing keeping his little power, I guess, that he has left or whatever that the teachers have. So
he sounds like the teachers at my school.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Are you okay?
What you told me, that's pretty harsh. That's pretty harsh.
I was like physically beaten in school for like failing a test or something, or forgetting to turn in my homework.
Oh no!
Until like I think I was in like grade 3 when they were like, okay, let's not beat our students up.
Oh no! Oh
Yeah, I mean, there are certainly a lot of places where there's like that like adjustment has been made, and like we see that he does beat a student, but he knows it's wrong, right? Because he would get in trouble.
Yeah.
It's more like he like literally cannot help himself or whatever. And for sure, there are certainly, I'm sure there are cases even now of teachers like getting away with things like this. And when I was in high school, I did get hit by a teacher once for not turning in my homework. It was very interesting. I had a very like it was a very long-standing like rivalry is not the right word, but she and I were on bad terms from like day one. When she refused to even try to pronounce my name after reading it. Like,
oh no.
Yeah.
That's awful.
Yeah. And then like, I mean, I wasn't a great student either. I was like basically never doing my homework because I didn't like her. She made
rebel.
Yeah,
rebel against the school rules.
Exactly. She made me hate math, and it's like a whole thing. But in any case, yeah. So she like by the time she actually hit me, it was like, oh, we have been over this for a few years now, and like it was a big shock for the rest of the class. And I was like, whatever. Yeah.
Wow.
God damn.
So what happened to that teacher?
I mean, I didn't report her or anything because like I didn't really care or whatever. It was like I don't know, it was like a senior year by that point. I don't know, it was like I don't know what I can't remember what my logic was at the time, but I was like, I kind of felt like I didn't want to make this like a big thing, I guess, if that makes sense.
I see. Yeah, maybe you're like, I'm getting out of here, who cares,
Yeah,
right.
It unfortunately does make sense, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, anyway.
Yeah,
No, it's fine. I'm just letting all that sink in and processing and remembering my school years. But yes, let's talk
That's the thing
about
school is you always like, at least as me as a teacher now, I've realized how many teachers have done me wrong in the past.
Oh yeah, no, it's like it's so bad, but yeah. So yeah, let's talk about the most interesting male character.
Interesting.
Well, the most interesting male character is the principal. So yeah, he's a very interesting character. Like I think he's only like, I guess, really only in one episode, but like he really just he steals the show. Like he's like, he likes taking photos. He's obsessed with like the school's image. Like he also loves to draw. He does portraits. Like he actually does a very interesting portrait of Sora. Like
yeah, that was interesting. And that was also an interesting scene because he didn't seem to understand that Sora went to his own school. Yeah,
that was so cool because it was like kind of subversive because he was like asking him about the rules and he was explaining his school rules, and this principal was like, wow, that's really strict, like he even comments on how strict it is. It's like, your school, sir, you don't even know what, like, and so I thought it was interesting kind of like, I guess, commentary on like the school, like administrators, especially like how they're kind of just, they got their heads in the clouds, like they're probably not like, especially the principal, like, I mean, it's like, they have things to do, but like they don't know like what's even going on sometimes at the school. Like,
sure.
Yeah, that was really interesting. And so, but like, so he's like, oh, these school, those sound really strict, but he thinks that the school rules are a necessary evil to ensure student safety. And he doesn't know much about the students in the school though, because like their names, like he doesn't know who they are or their faces, because Sora was like right in front of him and he just didn't. He drew him and he didn't notice he was from his school. And he doesn't attend their like games or matches unless they're like widely recognized, like unless it's, I guess, nationally recognized or like something like really, it's like a really big deal. Yeah, if it's good for press in some way. Yeah. And so pretty much he just wants to look nice and take nice pictures and make everything look like it's good, but he doesn't really, there's no like substance to it.
Yeah, the principal's a really interesting character. I found the scene between him and Tamagami Sensei at the bridge quite interesting. Yeah,
that was interesting too.
Yeah, because he's like, because of that incident, he was like, I will never let anyone die ever again.
Which I have a lot to say about that, but okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go off.
Yeah.
Principal. It's such a weird thing because it's like, he's like acting like, well, obviously the students were getting bullied because we didn't enforce this rule. But it's like,
because we didn't make him dye his hair black.
Yeah, and it's like, we very clearly have seen by this point that like there is still bullying going on at the school, even with all the rules being obeyed. Yeah. So it doesn't matter because kids are kids.
It doesn't matter at all. But he thinks he knows what he's doing. And honestly, I feel like there are a lot of Japanese administrators and like teachers at schools that feel that way. Yeah. They're like, well, yeah, maybe it sucks, but at least you guys are alive.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
You. Let's talk about more laid back people, which of course I'm referring to the rappers, and we're gonna start with.
Oh no! No! Don't say that.
I'm sorry.
I mean, it's true, but
I'm gonna start with Miles' friends.
who are grown men.
Yes, all 4 of them. So, Inoue-san is a pretty laid-back worker at the factory / construction site / junkyard.
Whatever it
yeah,
is.
he's apparently in charge of Grayson, Kofi, and Jiro.
I guess he is. I mean, it seems like he
seems
is.
to be so. Well, like, even if he's not, he's treated as if he is in charge of them because he's Japanese.
Japanese, yeah. So he might as well be. Yeah, that's what I wonder. I wonder if he actually is or if they just do it because he's Japanese. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, they're just, like, really good friends. He talks and raps with them. He,
like, literally literally raps, not, like, talks with them, raps.
Yeah. And, like, for an older Japanese man, like, he's very open-minded.
Yeah, I'd say, definitely.
Like, he stands up for his foreign friends when, like, that foreman, like, was being comically racist.
Yeah.
It's true. Yeah. I was surprised by that, actually. Actually, that was one of the things I was pleasantly surprised by, that, like, because they tried to, even in the beginning when Kirari goes to the construction site or whatever and tries to, like, you know, see what Mao's up to or whatever, because the foreigners, like, rap at her, and she's like, oh, like, you know, Oji said, like, she goes to, like, Inoue-san, and she's just like, you know, like, talk some sense, like, tell them, like, you know, she's trying to reason with him because he's Japanese, right? It's like, oh, they don't understand Japanese, even though they're rapping in Japanese, but anyway.
Yeah,
like,
They literally
like,
always
she's like,
speak Japanese.
Like, they always speak in Japanese, but she's still, but the thing is, that's accurate, though. You can literally be speaking in Japanese the whole time, and Japanese people will be like, huh? I don't speak English. What? And, like, you know, and so, like, I think that's very accurate representation.
Yes.
But, like, you know, she goes to him and he's just like, instead of, like, you know, taking her side or trying to be sympathetic to her, he just raps at her too. And I love that. I love that scene so much because, like, it's, like, so rare to see that, especially in Japanese media, where, like, a Japanese person actually stands up for the foreigners, and it's not like, oh yeah, no, I understand your feelings. I understand what you mean. Yes, those foreigners are scary, but they're good foreigners, so it's okay. Like, you know, usually that's the approach I see. It's like they'll be like, oh no, they're not bad foreigners, don't worry, but they'll still, like, kind of coddle the other Japanese person, kind of say, like, oh yes, your fears and your anxieties are
oh no, Inoue-san is basically like, no, fuck you.
Yeah, pretty much. No, Inoue-san, like, gets up in her face and is, like, rapping at her, like, you know, I'm just like them. If you're against them, you're against me. And that's, I feel like Inoue-san, hey, I'll say it, true ally.
He's cool.
Inoue-san, let's go.
Yeah.
He's the closest thing to an ally. Actually, I feel like, in the whole show, actually.
Yeah, I do think there is something, it's interesting because he is one of the few other older characters, and it's like, he's like, the older guy, and, like, you know, that's the thing is, like, some older folks, like, were, like, I would guess, like, he was probably involved with some organizing when he was younger. You know?
Yeah, it seems like it, because he knew, he knew what to do. He was like, yeah, let's go. Let's do a strike. Yeah, you don't deserve this. Let's go. Like, I think, probably because he's older, he knew about, like, striking and stuff. And so, it was very interesting. I feel like, I like Inoue-san. Besides the weird, like, you know, hitting on Maddie. I like him.
He gave his shot.
Yeah.
They all get a chance, I guess. I guess. But it was still just kind of weird. Because, like, I mean, the thing is, I just don't know, like, I don't have a concept of time in this show. So I don't know how long he's actually known her. I don't know if he even knows anything about her. Like, I don't know, like, how long they've been hanging out. And so to me, it just felt like kind of random. Like, oh, you're a woman and you're single and you're here. Hey, want to be with me? Let's get married. And it's like,
I'm just glad he didn't do it to Mao.
Sure.
I'm sorry.
Oh no, you've broken me. Oh no.
Faith, that is what I do.
I need
that is why you have me on this podcast.
Oh no, please don't. We've already got one, like, grooming, like, situation. We don't need anything else. We don't need another
okay.
one.
Yeah.
Really
sorry, that was a
we don't
bad
need more of that
joke. I'm
representation.
sorry.
Oh god. Okay, so speaking of the foreign workers, one of them is Grayson, who I believe is African American. That's what I'm.
Yeah.
That's what I'm assuming. I know the actor is because I did actually look up all the actors because I was very curious to see who they were because I was like, they're rapping in Japanese. I need to find these people, and it was hard to find them. But I did find like two, like actually, yeah, I think I found all of their Instagrams actually. And Grayson, yeah, he is African American, and so I'm assuming the character also is. And he's friends with, of course, Inoue-san, Kofi, and Jidu. He's also friends with Mao, and he seems to be kind of the leader of the like rapping foreigner groups. Like he seems like he always goes first, like he's always the first one to rap, and then like I don't know, like he just seems to be the leader, the de facto leader for some reason. I don't know why. I mean, we don't get too much background on him, but I still think it's pretty cool that they had two black characters from two different continents. That's pretty amazing for Japan.
The other black character is the heart of the rapping group.
Yeah. I feel like he's a sensitive one.
That would be Kofi. He's apparently from Ghana, and you know, I don't know, his presence just kind of like changes the vibe of the group for some reason, but I honestly don't remember much. So yeah, he's friends with Inoue-san, Grayson, Jiru, and Mao. He's like, yeah, we're homies.
Yeah, we actually get the most like background on him because we found out he's from Ghana. Yeah. We found out that the food that Mari makes apparently is like his food.
Well, I mean, we know the most about him because we know that he's from Ghana because that's related to food, which is not like a lot of representation. Like that's usually like the first thing people go to is like, well, what does the culture eat or whatever. And it's not like we learned about any dishes. It's just tomatoes. We use tomatoes.
Yeah,
and it's
It's literally and they're like, oh, the place with chocolate.
Yeah. Because of, Ghana chocolate is like one of the top brands here, so that makes sense. Yeah. That like that is like the unfortunate first thought that someone might have.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, I understand it, but yeah, it was
I'm glad his funny, representation is like chocolate. No, fuck you, tomatoes.
Sure. Yes, not the oppression chocolate.
Oh, no.
I want tomatoes. Okay. But yeah, it's like, I mean, it's not much, but at least it's something, whereas the other two, we just don't really get much.
Yeah.
Like Jiru is basically the same, I guess, except his, ethnicity.
Yeah, so he's Brazilian. And the actor is also, half Brazilian, Japanese. And he's friends with, the crew. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really get much about him. Besides, he's part of the crew. He seems to be like, I don't know, like he feels kind of like the extra to me. Like, I don't know, like he's
which
there.
Is
he's there, but
very
like
interesting. Because like usually it's like, the white guy is like,
they'll put the like, the lighter skinned guy in front and the other people, the black, the darker skinned people on the side. But no,
it felt very much like they needed a third guy.
Yeah. They just put them. And they were like, we can't have 3 black people. That's too much. We need one.
Man, that would have been so interesting. But then it would become the black rappers, right?
Yeah. So they had to put someone else in there. But look, other people can rap too. We'll put a Brazilian in there. And then I also wonder if it was also like, well, they're at a factory, so it's like, who works at factories? Brazilians. Okay. Like, I mean, it sounds horrible because it is, but like
it's also the truth.
Yeah,
though.
but that's like the logic. Yeah, I feel like that's the logic probably. Like, I mean, you don't see any white people in this rap group, any like white and like not
just
from
because
a developing country. Like
they would have different opportunities.
Yeah, they could be English teachers. Even though Grayson should also be able to be an English teacher.
He probably could, I mean, he's probably as qualified as a lot of white people I've worked with. So.
Yeah, I'm sure. But the thing is, I don't know. Like, the thing is, he never speaks English. So,
so we don't know.
We don't know if he speaks English.
Maybe he does. Maybe he does not.
Yeah, but there is like a known, prejudice against like hiring anyone who's not white.
Wait, what? Yeah. I don't know about that.
Oh yeah. Oh.
Surprise!
How much time you got? Like, oh yes. There's places that literally will be like, oh, we don't want black people. Like, they like just will not like hire you. That's the thing. I wonder, did Grayson have that experience?
But yet, we also have Chuya's boss at the bakery that he works at. He is actually a nice guy. We don't really know his name.
Honestly, he's my favorite man in the whole show.
Aw.
He's so cool.
Yeah.
Aww.
Yeah.
He is cute. Yeah, he is pretty cool. Actually, can you explain something in here? Because I wasn't sure, actually, and I put a question mark. So, like, in the show, like, so he's really good at pool, but he pretends to be bad and lets people win. Do they explain why
I think
he does that?
my understanding of that was that, like, he doesn't have, like, a lot of friends, so, like, being able to play billiards with people is, like, him being able to, like, you know, like, make friends. But because he's so good at pool, like, if you are always, like, beating people at pool all the time, like, that's not going to be a great way to make friends. So that was my interpretation.
I see. Okay.
But he
that
is
makes
also
more
just
sense.
legitimately
I
a
was
nice guy. He's,
yeah, he's a really nice guy. Yeah, because he lets Fumiya also put
Yeah.
up, like, his company's, like, poster for some kind of, like, festival or something, like, on the door of the bakery, the front door of the bakery.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's really nice.
Even just letting Chuya work at his bakery, even though it's against his school's rules, I think that's already like a really cool thing to do.
Yeah, and even when he knows the teacher's coming, he's like, "Oh, I'll cover for you. It's fine. I'll just say you don't work here." Like, he doesn't care. Like, he's just
he's
a real
guy.
one.
And when Chuya was bullshitting, when Chuya was bullshitting his teacher about the bomb thing,
so
he was just laughing in the background.
Yeah, he's trying so hard to keep it in. It was very good.
It was so funny. Yeah, that's true. That was the best part of that scene.
Yeah, that was
besides the horrifying Sora.
Yeah,
like,
before Sora shows up, it's very good scene.
Before Sora shows up, it's great.
Yeah.
Sora ruins yet another scene.
But yeah, we mentioned Fumiya Tsukiyoka, his older brother. We don't really know much about him, do we?
Yeah, only just that, he's Chuya's older brother. He works, I'm assuming, as some kind of salesman. He looks like a salesman. He seems to be pretty sociable and, like, optimistic, just like Chuya. He pretty much begs Chuya's boss to let him put the poster up on his bakery, and he lets him, so it's really nice. And then later on, when he's passing by, Otowa Sensei sees him and, like, assumes, like, oh, he must have been the one that the part-time job, like, rumor was about. And so she gets off his case, which I guess,
Congratulations!
Great.
To,
Cool.
I don't know, Chuya maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, for Chuya, that's great.
But then we have the less wholesome characters, like the factory foreman, who's
God.
he's like a racist man who sees foreigners as beneath him. He's the manager at the factory / construction work site / junkyard that Inoue, Grace, and Kofi and Jiro work at. And the thing about him is I feel, and I don't know if it's just like the way his character is written or if it's like what is referred to as a Freudian slip. Disclaimer, I do not agree with Freud. He is a sexist, sex-obsessed son of a bitch.
Sure.
And also homophobic. I can't forget that one. But yeah, I don't know if it's a Freudian slip of the writers, but like having this comically racist man would give, I really don't know how to put this, I guess unintentionally racist people, or like not racist but not anti-racist people to look at and be like, see, I'm not like that. I'm not racist.
Yeah. No, I think the Japanese audience would love.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not like him, you know? I'm not like saying foreigners are bad, so I'm good.
I don't hate foreigners. I don't think they should go back to their countries.
And he's like the only character who's like that. Every other character is either like Mari, who's obsessed with them, or they're just kind of like, oh, okay, they're foreigners, cool. Like they don't like they don't. Or they're like, oh, they're foreigners, maybe they don't understand Japanese, but that's it. Like, there's no, like, no one else has those kind of sentiments. It's just this one guy. And I'm like, no, I don't believe this. Like, I don't believe this. I'm sorry. This is very inaccurate. I'm not buying it.
Yeah. I think he is very similar to some of the other teachers in that, like, he's such an extreme character in order to make everyone else look better. And, like...
Yeah. You gotta do a lot to make Sora look good. That's true. I'm sorry.
Yeah. By the way, so this actor is very interesting. His name is Tyson. Please, whatever you do, don't go to his website. It's really weird.
Oh no. Oh no.
For some reason, his
like,
website, like, it opens with him just completely shirtless in these weird little, like, gifs. One of them, he's wearing a wig.
This is the The racist guy?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Tyson Oya is just like, he's like doing all kinds of weird stuff shirtless for some reason. I don't know why.
Tyson.
Yeah, like he almost. I could not find any date information about his like, if that's his real name or whatever, just a stage name. But like, I feel like if that's his stage name, it's probably like he named himself after Mike Tyson, which is not a good person to name yourself after. But like, it's so, I don't understand what's going on.
Well, so maybe it wasn't exaggeration. Maybe that's just his character. I don't know.
He's like he's like being super aggro on his website for no reason. It's a really weird profile. It's the weirdest.
But I feel like that is like a brand of like comedy though.
Sure.
Like, especially in Japan, like it's like just be really like I don't know, like just I don't know, like
it's just like the weirdest attempt at like audition I've ever seen. I don't understand.
Wow.
Like for people's own mental health, I would recommend not going to the site, but it is also very fascinating.
Okay. Okay. I'm sure people will probably go. But like, but thanks for the warning anyway. Wow, did not expect that. Okay. So then, speaking of trash, the teacher that Tamogami Sensei had a relationship with as a high school student. Yeah, so like we've been saying, like he pretty much was grooming her, like, because she was a high school student and he was an adult, even though they say it's an innocent, like, love, romantic thing. The drama tries to frame it as nice. It's still really creepy and really bad in real life. And so, he stood up for, one of the students who had natural brown hair, and he tried his best to protect him. He was, like, I guess an ally to that kid, I guess. And, he created the school form for students to prove that their color is naturally brown, because apparently no Japanese people have brown hair. And so he did some good things, but he also was like was dating his student and gave her like a hair accessory as a gift. And a lot of stuff to talk about with this teacher, honestly. Like, yes, we will. Yes, we will do that.
Yeah, a lot of stuff to unpack there in the relevant section. So, yes. So now let's talk about more people who are not in the drama, but are kind of referenced. Chuyo's dad, Mr. Tsukioka, we actually don't know his first name. According to Juya, he was loving and caring, and he would buy ice cream for Juya in secret, apparently. After his mom would scold him and tell him about the broccoli man.
The broccoli man!
That's what it was, right?
It just made me laugh, though. The broccoli man. Watch out, I'm the broccoli man. We're gonna get you.
And apparently he was a very hard worker. And
he worked a lot, at least.
I feel bad having to mention this, but he died from overworking, which is such a Japanese thing to happen.
Oh no.
I think Japan is the only country where death from overworking is a thing.
Well, at least that they have a term. At least a place that it's common enough that like they have a term and they're like, yes, this is what we do. That's really sad. Unfortunately, that's like okay.
Do you want to talk about the other non-existent character?
Yeah, the non-existent character who does get mentioned a little bit in the drama. Because he has a motor bicycle. So he's not in the drama. It's mentioned that he left his motorcycle behind. Mao wants to get her motorcycle license so that she can ride the motorcycle, even though Sora's against it because he's like a loser. And because he's boring. That motorcycle will be too exciting. And so, we don't know anything about his background, really, in the drama. They never really say anything. Or his relationship with his daughter, Mao. Like, never mention it. Or his relationship with Mari, really,
there was a
anymore.
Relationship between him and his wife?
About him.
I can't believe it.
No. Yeah, there was a relationship. And they had a child. And then after that, I guess he just left. I guess. We don't know. We don't know. They don't tell us, so...
Well,
we don't know.
That's the last man that we have to talk about. Thank God. Sadly, there were no other genders that I noticed, unless it's 2019 and Japan has decided to add X gender, but not in this drama apparently. But yeah, that's always a sad note to end on.
All right. Well, then let's wrap this up since we have been talking for quite a while for this part.
Yes, 3 hours, I
Yes.
believe.
Yes. And so that's the end of part 1 of our Black School Rules episode. Thank you so much, as always, for joining us. You can subscribe to our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. Just search for Accidental Kiss.
If you would like to contact us, please email us at kiss.accidental@gmail.com.
Let us know if you have any other Asian drama series you'd like us to cover on the show. Your suggestion might make it into a future episode.
You can also follow us on Twitter at kiss_accidental and on Instagram at accidentalkiss. We would like to thank you so much again, Ayumi, and you will hear me say this again, and again, for coming on our podcast. It really was a lot of fun. Like, we said we were gonna take like a 5-minute break, but we just ended up talking for 3 hours straight. That's just a thing that happens.
Yes, I forgot. I'm sorry.
Thank you. See, I'm doing it again. Anyway, is there anything you would like to plug?
Sure. So you can find me on the socials at Ayushinos. So that's AYUSHEKNOWS. And my podcast, Sparkle Side Chats with Magical Girl Ayu, can be found on the socials at Magical Girl Ayu, spelled AYU. I have like a million other things I'm doing on the internet, but basically if you want to like support me, just go there and find all my links and stuff. It's cool. You'll find links to like stuff I've done in the past and stuff I will be doing and my art and so on, just everything there.
Thank you.
Thank you. And again, you can listen to an episode I did on Ayumi's podcast about the 2003 live action drama of Sailor Moon. Had such a blast doing that episode with Ayumi, and I hope all of you will check it out. Yeah, please give it a listen. Sparkle Side Chats.
So, stay tuned for our next episode where we'll continue to talk about the representation in Black School Rules again with Ayumi.
Until then, see you!
See you!
Forced to marry the first guy you accidentally kiss, betrayed by your only friend, so she can get the guy. The reasons above and more are why. The way we feel about Asian dramas is just so complicated. It is so complicated. Complicated.